Salutations, everyone. I'm Mongo. Joined as always by my co-host Liger Boo. So this is critical. We're talking about wrestling video games. So it is the history of pro wrestling video games. I already said, God, I fucked that intro up. Don't edit this. I want them to know how unprepared I was. It's been 2 weeks. And when I say it's been 2 weeks, I mean, buddy, it's been 2 weeks. But this week we're talking WWE Day of Reckoning for the GameCube, which released right at the ass end of August in 2004. Developed by Yugs, published by THQ. Stop me if you've heard that part before. But before we get there, how are you this week?
Well, I mean, better than last week, I suppose. Last week was a really, really rough week. Suppose we didn't see it on social media. We got some bad news about my cat. He has advanced kidney failure, and that was very hard to take. I mean, he's doing all right now. But yeah, that was a rough start to the week. And then there was some other stuff happened, and then the weekend I got really sick, like a really bad cold, and today is the first day I've started to feel like normal from it. So yeah, it's sort of the shittiness continued into this week as well, but better than last week. But I mean, this coming week I'm going to see Superman, so at least that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. Like I said before we started recording, the discourse around that movie is exhausting.
I will say the press interviews with David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan have been really, really good. Like, their chemistry is crazy. Like, you would think they were actually like dating or something when you watch the interviews with them. Also, like, David Corenswet, like, it's so funny because you see, like, you know, these PR firms and stuff like running people's social medias and stuff. And he does have like one of those on Twitter, but someone found like his old account, and like there was a press interview that his friends from a podcast did with him, and there's a comment, and it says David Corenswet, and you click on it, and it's like his account from like 10 years ago that he's still using for like YouTube videos and comments, and it's just like, that's crazy. Like, you know, you don't usually see like actors in big roles like out in the open like that. And he's like kind of new to the scene, right? So they're probably gonna be like, don't use that shit, like delete all your channels and shit. But it's just funny to see.
I was going to say something, and my friend sent me an incredibly fucked up meme on Instagram.
Oh,
Nothing problematic. It was just I haven't seen a picture of Truth Martini in a long time, and that was something. So yeah, Day of Reckoning, August 30th, 04. Gonna sound like a broken record from the Mania 19 episode. I was actually homesick from school. School had just started. 7th grade, we'll never forget it. First day of school, I had like a crazy bout of vertigo and almost like face planted going down the bleachers at the end of the first day of school, like orientation. So I got to go home early, but not before the principal, who was a complete fucking piece of shit, like screamed at me and told me I was faking it. And I'm like, lady, the room is fucking going dark and spinning. I don't know where the fuck I am. Fuck you. Call my mom. So went back to school the next day. Was normal. My doctor, in his infinite wisdom, was like, I probably just got overheated because it was like 92 that day. But I ended up getting sick, like actually sick, like the kind of sick where like you run out of Kleenexes, so your mom's got to go to like Dollar General to get you some. So you make do by like just wetting a washcloth, using that to wipe your nose, and then you get like that weird like chafed skin mustache. Anybody who's been that sick knows what I'm talking about. I mean, you can get that even with just regular Kleenexes too. Like, it's brutal. But we had Day of Reckoning reserved to Sam Goody, and this was during the time where I think I mentioned this on the SVR episode we did. Like, Sam Goody just stopped getting games in on time. So mom took me to Walmart, and right fucking there it was. And my cousin ended up paying us for the copy that we had at Sam Goody because he had a GameCube and he wanted the game too. Huge fan of WrestleMania 19. My computer that my mom got me for Christmas in 2000, it started just like that thing was tanked because I knew what websites to avoid, but when your cousin comes home from work at like 3 a.m. and nobody else is up, and then you have a fucked up like browser history after that, well, your computer's gonna croak.
I'm sure he was just looking for Bonzi, buddy.
So I was going to the library for all of this stuff, and then there were points like my mom would get the computer fixed, and it would be all right. But whoever fixed the computer would also introduce other problems to it, like, "Hey, glad we got our computer back. Why did you fuck up our sound drivers?" And then the guy would be like, "Well, you fucked this up," and it's like, "No, my shit had sound when we gave it to you. You gave it back to us, and it didn't have sound." So like it was just a turbulent time. And then in '05, when mom got her at the time final tax return, she bought me a compact computer at Walmart. That was a great weekend. Shout outs to DVD. Anyway, go on.
That was my the first computer we had in '99 was a compact Presario.
I don't remember what the like name beyond the compact that I had was. I just remember the monitor and the tower came in one box, and that shit.
Oh God!
I was a pretty strong kid at that time because we were going to the actual like high school football team weight room every Friday for phys ed, and then I may or may not have been sneaking over there during school just to fucking hang out. But like I helped the guy get it into the GMC Jimmy, which is like a Blazer for anybody that doesn't know GMC cars. When we got it home, I like tried to get it out, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna need help. So my friend helped me get it in the house. We set it up, and it was wonderful. Anyway, I followed along with the coverage, and I remember being at my friend Eric's house in the summer of '04, like in the lead up to the game's release, and just being like, holy crap, Bret Hart's in the game, and Brutus Beefcake. Why is Brutus Beefcake in this game?
Those profile pictures are horrifying, by the way. Yeah,
the like pre-rendered models with like the weird lighting. The only one I ever thought looked kind of cool was the Kane one because it kind of fit, like aesthetically. But some of those are horrifying.
Yeah, Bret's got like a whole long legs thing going on.
Bret kind of looks like Elektra from ECW in his profile picture. That was like my first thought when I saw it again.
That's not what I thought, but okay.
I was like, oh, that's fucking horrifying. But you know what's crazy? His actual in-game model looks good.
Yeah, it looks fine. It's just the profile pictures are crazy.
Yeah, all of the profile pictures are like fucking horrifying, and then you get in the actual game, and it's like, no, they look great. The characters look great. But I got the game, and I like all the build up. I was really excited. This game also got revealed officially WrestleMania weekend in '04, and the one thing that always kind of tripped me up was like, I obviously what he did was fucked up, but I have to talk about it because he's in the game. In the menus and shit, Chris Benoit has like black wrist tape on some of the pictures, but in the game he has white wrist tape. In the early build pictures, he has black wrist tape. And like, why did that change? Who made this decision?
Yeah, that's a weird one. Maybe it was like one show where he wore white because he always wore black from what I remember. And then maybe they thought that's what it was going to be like going forward, and he didn't. And just said, "Oh, fuck it, we'll keep it."
I don't know. They do some weird stuff with wrist tape because in like the next game, Randy Orton just doesn't have it, and he like never worked without wrist tape.
Yeah, and like Christian had no wrist tape in some games.
Yeah, I think Edge might not have like his gloves or whatever the fuck in the next game too. Like, yeah, very, very strange. But to me, and we'll debate this, I'm sure. This was probably the best wrestling game we got in North America in '04. Not that that's a particularly like tight race. It's this, or it's SVR, or it's the PS2 Ultimate Muscle. No, that's early '05, I think. So the worst SmackDown game released at that time, or like a way better game on the GameCube. Fuck, man, that's a hard choice.
Yeah, I've got nothing to debate because, like I said, when it comes to SmackDown versus Raw, all those titles get like lost in my brain as to what they had and what they didn't. Unless I'm playing it like when we reviewed them. Unless I'm like specifically playing it at the time, I'm just like I don't know what's what. This game though, I didn't care much for at all. I don't remember if I played this on release. I don't know if I rented a GameCube or not. But playing it now, to me, it's just like it's got the control scheme is like exactly like WrestleMania 19, but it's not stylized like that game. It's more of like, realistic. So it feels like WrestleMania 19 without its soul. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what if we just added like SmackDown like graphics? And to me, that just loses the appeal.
I can understand that. I think the character models are still blocky. They get way more realistic for two.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
true.
like I had a memory of one looking a lot more like two, but this is the best way I can describe it is take Mania 19 and kind of give it that Here Comes the Pain lighting.
Yeah.
It looks a little like strange. I don't think it looks bad. I do like the stylized look of 19 a lot, but I also think this game looks really nice.
Yeah, it doesn't look
The face,
bad. It just like WrestleMania 19 in comparison feels a lot more unique as opposed to this, where I feel like you could have bought another game on another system that would have looked similar. And at 19, I didn't feel like there was anything else like that. You know what I mean?
I think 19 also stands out because it's the only one of the GameCube games that looks like that too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like 18's got the weird like lighting and it's got the big blocky character models, but it doesn't have like the high saturation look of like 19.
Hmm.
19 looks like 19, and then DOR looks like an in between of like 19 and Here Comes the Pain, and then DOR 2 is like very, very realistic. Some of the best lighting you're ever going to see in a wrestling game.
Yeah.
So like graphically, yeah, it's not as inspired as 19. I still think it looks pretty good. Roster wise, this game is 2004 as fuck.
Whew, yeah, it
Uh,
sure
we
is.
got we got Andre the Giant, Batista, Big Show, Booker T, Bret Hart, Brutus Beefcake, Charlie Haas, Chavo Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian. Can we get some few less people with Chris in their name, please? Danny Basham, Doug Basham, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Garrison Cade, Greg Valentine, Hardcore Holly, John Cena, Kane, Kurt Angle, Lance Storm, Mark Jindrak, Matt Hardy, Molly Holly, who is bald in this game, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Rhino, Ric Flair, Rob Van Dam, Roddy Piper, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin, Stacy Keibler, The Rock, Triple H, Trish Stratus, The Undertaker, Val Venus, and Victoria. Notable 2004 omissions here. The two big ones that stood out to me at the time were Bradshaw and Eugene.
Val Venus in 2004. Get the hell out of our company. What the hell was he doing here?
He's there until like fucking 07.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because I remember the poll when Cena ripped his fucking booby muscle, and I was like, who do you think should be the champion? And a bunch of people ironically voted for Val Venus. And there was a friend I had at the time that was like, oh, they should give him the belt because of the poll. And I was like, yeah, and they can also go out of fucking business too. Which in retrospect, fuck, I wish they did.
If he ever did, like, instead of giving him a proper belt, they should have just, like, drew the belt on his towel. You know what I mean? You could have
Yeah.
sold towels that way.
Yeah. Well, they weren't interested in selling anything Val Venus related for a long time, and I don't
Oh, that's
fucking blame
true.
them.
Except for that one weird shirt.
Yeah, and like he gets two figures during the RA era. I think one of them's like a weird exclusive in like an actual box, and then the other one might have been a CS figure.
Hmm.
And my response to like any Val Venus merch that's getting made is just brother, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, fuck him.
Like in terms of those like late '90s gimmicks that people remember from the Attitude Era, I always like Gangrel more. Also, Gangrel was a better wrestler.
Yes.
It had a way cooler theme song. But like I said, this roster is 04 as fuck. We got the Bashams, we got Garrison Cade, which I always hated that. Like you would read a lot about how good like Lance Cade was in OVW and how much potential he had as like maybe a modern Barry Windham, and they fucking bring him up with this dumbass run. I think he teamed with Mark Jindrak, who
Yeah.
is also in the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was him and Jindrak were getting, like, the clean cut tag team push for a little bit. I don't think it lasts very long, though.
You do face them in story mode, which we'll talk about momentarily. And you kind of see the products of the OVW shit starting to kind of bubble up because like this is the like last GameCube game before Cena is the world champion. Randy Orton or WWE champion, I'm sorry. Randy Orton literally is world champion when this game comes out. Batista's a couple of months away from the start of his big push. It's a very fascinating time to look back on. And again, as I look at the roster, there's the Bashams, who could have been two pretty decent like mid card hands for the company, maybe even upper mid card, especially Doug, because Doug was great. Playing this game again reminded me, like, I really did not like the WWE a lot in 04. I was pretty much just watching for like Randy Orton and Shelton Benjamin if I turned on Raw. And on SmackDown, like, once Brock left, I didn't really have anybody I cared about on SmackDown anymore, because like Kurt Angle's the GM around this time. He's literally the GM in this game. And like Benoit was on Raw, and he had this shitty world title run where they didn't treat him like he was the world champion. And Eddie's world title run had given way to JBL, which, you know, I like Bradshaw as a wrestler. They didn't have anybody for him to work with after Eddie that was conducive to, you know, good fucking matches, though.
Yeah, this is definitely a period where things start to go downhill quite a lot. I mean, you look at
And
the previous game, you've got Brock, you've got Goldberg, you've got Austin, Hogan. Was Hogan in this game? I can't remember. I don't think you mentioned him. Yeah, so
no.
You think about all those roster additions, and they're all gone this year. And the product on TV, as you mentioned, like some of the storylines are going on, not good stuff.
No, and it's weird because there's a lot of stuff like from 04. I'm purely talking matches here. If you watch them in isolation, you would be fooled into thinking like 04 WWE was awesome.
Yeah.
Like the two Orton and Benoit matches, Orton and Foley, Eddie and Bradshaw, both the pay-per-view matches and the cage match. That London and Kidman match from No Mercy, which people used to talk up as being one of the best WWE matches of the 2000s, and I don't feel like you hear anybody talk about it anymore.
Yep.
Obviously, the Mania 23 way. Yes, I know we're talking a lot about Benoit here. He's in the fucking game, and he's a big part of 2004. So, fuck, what do you want me to do? But then there's like the rest of it, like the Triple H Eugene match, which if you take that match at face value, they booked a match where Triple H beat up a mentally handicapped person in a steel cage and beat him bloody. I used to be friends with somebody that was like, that's like the most evil match ever in wrestling. And like, yeah, no, it is really. But like, if you look at it, like if you take the 10,000 foot view, that doesn't make Triple H look like a heel. I don't want to see Triple H get his comeuppance after that. I just want him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And also, like, doing that to Nick Dinsmore, like, Jesus Christ. Granted, I've seen screenshots of his Twitter, so whatever, fuck him now. But
yeah,
like in the mid 2000s, go on.
I was just gonna say he played Eugene recently in Rev Pro.
Like in England?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I think it was like a Battle Royal or something.
That's nuts. But I was always disappointed with that too, because one, I didn't think the gimmick was very fucking funny, and two, you read about Dinsmore and like PWI and shit, and obviously on the message boards from the people that were watching the OVW TV at the time. And back when this was a cool thing to be, people were like, oh, he could be their next Benoit. And then they make him that. And apparently that gimmick is like a riff on a fan from like Baltimore or some shit that actually was mentally handicapped. And his name might have actually been fucking Eugene.
Yeah, that's real messed up.
Yeah, shit company. Gameplay we'll talk about, because that's a thing in video games. Very similar to 19. They do make a couple of changes. The struggle to get out of submissions and stuff is no longer like an analog lag. It's button mash. They have the tug of war system from Here Comes the Pain for that. They also have like, and I thought this was really cool. If you're about to be knocked out, you have to, like, a meter will pop up and you have to mash really quickly to avoid like being KO'd. I thought that's a better version of like how in the earlier SmackDown games, if you hit a finish, it was like automatic KO, you were dead. There's weight detection in this game. Try to grapple a guy, and then you have to, like Tall Paul, you'll have to mash buttons to pick them up. And that goes into like your strength rating and your momentum play a huge part in that system. But the biggest addition to the gameplay to me are the momentum shifts, which I mean AEW Fight Forever has them, sort of. I can't think of any other wrestling game after Day of Reckoning that has them other than Fight Forever. Basically, when you're in danger, you have a one-time use move where if you press A and B, for some guys it's like a low blow, for other guys it's like an actual move. But you'll swap momentum with your opponent. So if your opponent's in like the red and like they're building specials quickly, hit them with a momentum shift. They get blue momentum and you get the red momentum, and you'll be able to build up a finisher quickly. That is such a fucking phenomenal idea. I guess you could argue they did something similar when they implemented the comeback mechanic in WWE 12, but that's not really the same thing.
Right.
Um,
Oh, that was in this game. I
gameplay,
don't even remember like reading about that.
yeah. It was one of the big things I remember, like that was talked about when it was first revealed. Also, matches in this game go very, very quickly.
Yes.
So like there's a chance you might not see the momentum shift
Yeah.
mechanic unless you're playing against a buddy or you're playing in like story mode.
Right.
Um, but like matches flow really well. There's not, like if you like the way WrestleMania 19 played, this game plays the exact same, but with like different submission mechanics and like the weight detection and the momentum shift.
I think the control scheme is like I did the tutorial for both games, and I think it's like exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I I think I said this. I think I've said this a number of times. I wish this was the combat system that they carried over when things went next gen. Like the collision detection is better, the grappling system is better, the gameplay just fucking feels better. And there's not a single game that bears the SmackDown versus Raw name that I would play over this or the previous game or the next game.
Yeah, like
I think they could have expanded it to 6 characters. I mean, especially on the more powerful hardware.
right.
I just I would have rather had this. I didn't mean to cut you off, but goddamn, I love this game.
No,
I love
no,
all.
I was just gonna reiterate too when it comes to SmackDown versus Raw, like my brain gets so goddamn foggy when it comes to those games. They should have named them something better for my own for my own memory, you know? It's like the sports games in general. Like generally, I can't remember the differences between FIFA year by year or NBA or NFL or NHL or anything like that. I just look at the title and I was like, oh, this must have like an updated roster. I can't remember anything else. Nothing really sticks out. So when they started doing that for wrestling games, it's like, oh, how do you expect me to remember? They're all the same except for like one number is different. And then, like, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, once you get to like the PS3 era, it felt like the year-over-year innovation in sports games stopped because like
Yeah,
Madden
definitely.
03 to 04 to 05, those are all pretty fucking different games.
Hmm.
But like Madden 13 to 14 to 15, I don't think were. And from what I see every year, Madden's just the same. Like it's a literal roster update because Ultimate Team is how they make their money. I know a lot of people loved the SmackDown games because the PlayStation 2 was the predominant console of this console generation, and SmackDown versus Raw '06 sold more than I think both Day of Reckoning games combined. Um, those games really do not hold up well from a gameplay perspective. You have to have a ton of I have a ton of nostalgia for SmackDown '07, so I can tolerate a lot of the pitfalls of that game because it reminds me of like a weirdly fun nostalgic period of my life, or a period of my life I'm nostalgic for would be more accurate. But like, if I take those rose tinted glasses off, the game sucks. Like the
One of the
actual gameplay's a mess. It makes no fucking sense.
one of the worst parts of like going back to those games is the creator wrestler because it like really hits you how bad they looked compared to the in-game wrestlers. So
Yeah,
you go back and look at them now, and it's like I don't even want to bother try creating anyone because they just look kind of terrible.
That's not so much an issue with this game. I remember people making some really good creator wrestlers. They don't look 1-to-1 with the in-game roster, but like I remember seeing like a Jun Akiyama, and I don't remember who made it. I don't have the formula, or else that would have just been my guy that I used in story mode. But like I remember seeing a Jun Akiyama that looked really, really fucking good. But also like going back to Mania X8, the character creation, like the actual like morphing and stuff in these games was always better than the PS2 games.
Right. I couldn't even see any of the creations in this one actually because like when I tried to create someone, like the graphics were all messed up for whatever reason.
You missed out on great story mode. So we'll talk about story mode because like match wise, it's all the same as 19. Like no, oh, I'm sorry. There's a bra and panties match now, which works the exact same way that it does. And here comes the pain.
Woohoo!
My bad.
Exciting.
But there's no revenge mode. The revenge mode stages don't kick around in here.
Oh.
You get all the pay-per-views, all the TV shows. Actually, I don't think you get velocity, but you might get velocity. I remember you have to unlock heat. Anyway, you create your character and you have shit stats and you start in WWE developmental. But in the Prima strategy guide, it mentions OVW. So I don't know if like that was planned and it got cut and we might have gotten like OVW NPCs in the game. But what you get are matches in the WWE house show arena against like really weird creator wrestler like abominations. Coach is the GM of WWE developmental. And this is the era where to spice things up in the story modes, like, oh, you've got to win in 3 minutes and you've got to do your finisher and a move off the top rope. Matt Hardy is here, so you've got to fucking beat up his legs and beat him by submission because he's recovering from an injury. And there's nothing too silly there. And then you graduate to Sunday Night Heat, where Paul Heyman is the GM. And by the way, when you graduate from developmental to Sunday Night Heat, you unlock Andre the Giant, which has always struck me as weird. Because when you go from Heat to the main roster, you unlock Bruce Beefcake and Greg Valentine, and it feels like you could probably just swap those. It would make a little bit more sense.
Those are some weird stages to unlock those particular wrestlers for sure.
And so on Sunday Night Heat, you get the stuff where like, oh, you've got to do either a submission or a flying move and win with your finisher, and it's got to be in under 5 minutes. There's a part where Rhino attacks you and your body's like all like yellow damage. You got to put him through the announce table. Also, when you go from developmental to Heat, the AI just goes, fuck you. Right. There's tag matches that are like just, there's one where you've got to let AI Rhino win. And goddamn, that was really frustrating to me as a kid. I beat it first try this time, like 90 seconds, because I fucked up Lance Storm and we got out of there. But the tag match AI in this game is brutal because your partner will just refuse to fucking come in until after your opponent's partner has come in, which poses the fucking problem of if you've got a pin or a submission on, that shit might get broken up. Then again, when I wrestled Chavo Guerrero and Hardcore Holly, every time Chavo ran in to break something up, he missed. So that was something. Right. But at the end of Sunday Night Heat, there's a 4-man tournament where the winner graduates to Raw or SmackDown. You wrestle Lance Cade, Rhino wrestles Matt Hardy. Now, I don't remember if this is scripted or not, because I remember actually beating Lance Cade, like proper. But this time, Lance Cade DDT'd the ref, went outside, tried to grab a weapon, did not get a weapon, came back into the ring, the ref got up and DQ'd him, and I was just like, okay. And then I beat Matt Hardy. And then here's the fucking thing. You get to pick if you want to go to Raw or SmackDown. This basically, you join a stable, depending on which you answer. Raw, you get Evolution. SmackDown, you get the new ministry composed of The Undertaker, The Big Show, Booker T, Charlie Haas, and your character. The story will progress the exact same regardless of which show you're on. Batista and Tall Paul are the same. Flair and Booker are the same. Orton and Haas are the same. Like, it's all interchangeable. As you would expect, you go through this, you're part of the group, you're fucking doing the shit with The Undertaker and all of your homies, and then you fucking obviously the group turns on you. I had a lot more fun with the SmackDown path when I was a kid, and it's why I picked it now because of just the absurdity of the new ministry. This all culminates in an Iron Man match against either Triple H or Undertaker, depending on your stable of preference, at WrestleMania 20. And I remember the first time I beat this game, my friend Aaron was at my house. We'd just become friends, and we're sitting there as he's watching me play the match against the Undertaker, and I'm just like laughing off every finisher I get hit with because I'm like, "Fuck you, Undertaker! You suck! You're a bitch!" And when it was over, he's like, "You wouldn't say any of that to the Undertaker's face." And 21 years later, I'm willing to tell you that yes, I would. I would absolutely. I would call the Undertaker a pussy ass bitch to his face, 100%. Because what's he gonna do? Greatest pure striker in the history of the game, Miles. I'll shoot a single. And then when you beat the game, you unlock Bret Hart. You also unlock Stone Cold Steve Austin's ATV entrance, which basically confirms he was all but finished in the game, and then they got the kill order to take him out. And I mean, Bret Hart's a great reward for beating the game because I had friends that bought the game that didn't read any of the internet stuff, didn't buy the strategy guide. And I remember one of the few days I went to school in 7th grade, my buddy had just gotten the game and he came to lunch and said, "Do you know Bret Hart's in this game?" And I was like, yeah, the strategy guide. It was like the biggest deal in the world to him. And they're like, "Yeah, he's in SmackDown too." And he was like, "Huh?" Because he thought I meant SmackDown 2. And I'm like, "No, he's in the new SmackDown game." Because this was like 04, the year of the Classic Superstars line. So like, it felt like anything was possible now. And then we didn't proceed to get Ultimate Warrior in the main series until 2K14, and that was the one I was always holding out hope for because there's like the little clip of Warrior, and I think it might be DiBiase or The Rock from Here Comes the Pain. It's like shitty off-screen footage, and it's like I'd really love to fucking use that guy.
Yeah, it was like the footage was Warrior and Hogan. I think it was from
it?
Yeah, I
I
think it
know
was
it's Warrior and DiBiase too.
it might have been from E3, but I can't remember. It's like obviously it's like really, really old cell phone footage, but yeah, that video is still around. I think I posted it on like Twitter like last year or something. Yeah,
One of the
crazy to see.
videos has like a really problematic video description too.
I don't know.
I feel like it might have like a slur or something in it. Let me.
Probably.
Okay, so the video I'm seeing right here, this is the one I remember seeing back in like 03, 04. It's a 30-second clip of Warrior and Rock.
Oh, okay.
The Hogan clip sounds familiar. I just don't remember where I've seen it. And not for nothing. Maybe Scott J could stop being a fucking prick and sitting on the versions of the games that have these characters on them because there's absolutely zero reason to do that.
Is he not like selling that one now or something?
Oh, is he? I don't know. I just remember he acquired that version and was like, "I'm going to do the definitive Here Comes the Pain with Warrior and Hogan and Jeff Hardy and all those guys." And it's like, not for nothing. You can still do that. Maybe upload the pre-release versions. Like we remember last year how crazy it was when we finally got the E3 2000 build of No Mercy. Oh, by the way, to put a bow on that, Day of Reckoning is a very good game. You should play it if you haven't. But like we all remember how cool it was to finally get the pre-release version of No Mercy because like you see like the grainy video of it and the off-screen pictures of it. Now like I can load that up whenever the fuck I want.
Yeah. Oh,
People
by
would
the
have a
way,
similar reaction.
that
Go on.
that Warrior Rock video was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, it wasn't Hogan. I think I was just putting the two videos together in my mind because there's obviously the Hogan one as well. But yeah, in regards to like the definitive editions of like Here Comes the Pain and stuff, like I know he posted a video recently, but like it seems like his stuff only pops up like every 6 months or something. And I don't know. It's at this point it just feels weird. When you talk about like stuff like No Mercy, like how you can just get that online for and it's crazy. And yeah, I wish like the stuff like SmackDown and it was like readily available for anyone that wants it, but instead you have to go for like Patreons and stuff and yeah.
Oh, is he like he's selling like burned copies of the SmackDown Shut Your Mouth Definitive Edition? That's
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that's what you were talking about. That's kind of wacky.
Yep.
That feels like something you might actually get in trouble if you try to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, I is he doing like artwork for them and stuff? Do you know?
Yeah, it's got a different cover.
Okay, so that's kind of
It's got
cool.
a Rocky in the middle, a different picture of Triple H. It's got Van Dam and Angle and Booker too.
It's cool, but at the same time, it's like that'd be something like I would probably just be like, people could just do that themselves. Like sending people discs in the year of 2025 seems like a lot of, I don't know, like hassle for no reason. Like you can provide the files for people to like, you can upload the you can upload the cover and be like, if you want to do this, yada yada. But to actually physically send people copies just feels like you're asking for trouble.
So he put up an update for console players, and if you want to upgrade your international with tracking. Not that I don't trust Scott J. This is nothing against him. If you are buying a package or buying something that would be shipped via any of these courier services, and I do mean literally any of them, and you are not paying the extra money for tracking, I kind of don't feel bad if your shit gets lost at this point.
Mm.
Because we've had numerous instances over the years of shit just like disappearing. The tracking at least gives you the ability to potentially hold some of these services accountable. That was like
Well,
my one big soapbox thing for this week, I
in
guess.
in that situation, like, yeah, if you don't have tracking and it does get lost, you can't even do anything with like your postal administration. It would have to be done off the sender because there's if there's no tracking, there's likely nothing they can do anyway, and you're not really paying them for service. It's you're paying the sender for shipping, and then the sender pays their administration and yada yada yada. Um, I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to mention that I played two other games this week, and I was given copies through Game.press, so there were free copies. Is it pronounced Jaleco?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaleco Sports Goal, which is like a compilation of the NES game Goal and the Super Nintendo game. I don't remember ever playing these games. The football games, soccer. Um, I don't ever remember seeing these games when I was a kid or anything. But like they have all like a lot of the features you expect from like compilations. Like you can rewind the gameplay. You've got like um different covers of the games and like the manuals and stuff based on region. Um, I actually kind of like the NES game quite a bit. It's got like a vertical view, and I don't usually like football games or sports games in general for that view type. Um, but there's something about it I just found like pretty enjoyable. It starts to speed up as you get closer to the goal. And I was losing like 2-0 at the start, and by the end I had tied it up, and then they scored the winning goal in my first match, and it was a bit challenging, but it was fun. The Super Nintendo game I didn't like as much of it being like the horizontal view, and it was like a faster paced game, and I just didn't respond as well to that one. And there was another game I played called Libritopia, Libratoria. So a friend of mine works in the library. She's not a librarian. I can't remember what her actual title is called. But I saw this and I was like, I was like, if I play this game, does it make me qualified to be a librarian? So you basically, it's that's what it is. It's a librarian simulator. Um, and it's actually kind of neat. Like you have to get the library ready for people coming in. Like you have to put the books on shelves and stuff. And I put them in the Dewey Decimal System because that's the proper way to do it. And so they come in and like they obviously check out and return books, and they might need help and stuff like that. And you've got a bunch of customers to deal with during the day. And there's different modes. So there's like a challenge mode and there's like a relax mode. So they can wait forever for you for like to check out and stuff, and you can just take your own pace, which I liked a lot. It was cool because like there was actual titles. like actual books in the game. And there's also a multiplayer mode, which I'm curious. I might have to check out sometime because that sounds kind of wacky. But I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it because I didn't think it would be like my type of thing. But like getting new books in and putting them on the shelves and like building the library and stuff like that, I was like, this is kind of neat. And then I was like, I want to see how far I can like mess things up. And you can't really like throw books at people or anything, which is what I really wanted to do. But there's a shh button. So like I had a lineup of people, and instead of like serving them, I just got on top of the counters that kept pressing shh shh shh, and that was the last thing I sent to my friend. But yeah, those two quite different games, but those are some things I've checked out recently. Um, I think I might have talked about it, but I also played Nobody Wants to Die. That was on sale on. Actually, it was Humble Bundle had that. Um, that game's really cool. It's like a murder mystery game. And it's in like this Blade Runner type world, but also like retro. So you've got like flying cars and everything, but like everything's got like a 1950s like aesthetic to it. Like you watch like black and white movies and stuff in like a Sky movie theater in New York City. Um, that so far when I've played it, there's no actual combat or anything. It's all you go to like the scene of the crime and doing sort of like a Batman detective vision type thing and like figuring out what exactly happened and all and everything. Uh, a really interesting game that I'm gonna play it through. Usually, some games, like I stop and go on to something else and forget about them. But this is something I want to, finish to the end. It's a really interesting idea, and yeah. Have you been playing anything different other than Day of Reckoning recently?
I started playing Blasphemous. I think I might have mentioned that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that game rocks. I am not very good at it. It's a Metroidvania, but also it's as unforgiving as Dark Souls. At least it feels that way to me. Um, I also I sometimes I get really bad about things like this, but I was like, I wonder what the Sega Saturn version of NBA Live '97 looks like because I just remembered it existed.
Hmm.
And like the way the game looked, like the default camera angle and the way the models and stuff look, it set off like all the available neurons in my brain, and I'm like, oh, this like aesthetically looks like NBA Showdown '94. So long story short, I downloaded all the Saturn stuff I needed, acquired all of it to play NBA Live '97, and I started a season playthrough as the Pacers. Currently 2-0. Currently doing very well. I started the third game and then I had to stop to eat, and I was just like, ah, whatever, I'll pick it back up. And I haven't picked it back up. I played anything else recently? I did recently beat God of War 1, 2, 3, and the two PSP games.
Right.
I might have talked about it when I beat God of War 1, but like that is a game where you could tell they ran out of fucking time and budget because that last like third of the game feels so underdeveloped. That Hades section where you got to climb the pillar with like the rotating pillar with like the blades. I did that in one shot the first time I played that game when I was 13. I do not to this day. You know what? I think I one shotted it when the HD collection came out in 2009. It took me. I'd use a save. Well, I did a save state and then I didn't have to use it, which like was such a confidence killer. But it took like 5 or 6 tries until I kind of got my shit together. And then there's like the thing where you're walking across the rotating like meat pillars that have the blades. That shit drove me nuts as a kid. Still drives me nuts now. And I beat God of War 1 last. I beat the two PSP games first. I started all of them around the same time. Beat the two PSP games first and was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get to the end of 2. I beat 2, I beat 3, which I'd never beaten 3. I got to like the labyrinth and just got really shitty right around the time you fight the giant scorpion that you have to use the Hercules fists on. And then I was like right outside the architect's tomb in God of War 1, which I didn't realize I was like right at the end of the game. I thought there was like a little bit more game left after that. And so like I did the thing where you put the statue on the deal, you put the little like crane thing on the other one, and then you step on the pressure point, then you have to jump across like the moving platforms and the blades and shit. Which by the way, David Jaffe was the director of this game, and that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. And then you realize he's the motherfucker that got stuck in a room in Metroid where you're clearly supposed to shoot the walls. I don't think that guy gets a past a bitch about game difficulty and bad design. And so like once you get past that, there's like the room where you're right before you get Pandora's box. And I didn't realize this as a kid. I didn't realize until I watched the speedrun. There's a glitch in that room, like with the moving conveyor belts and all the shit, where you got to fight like a million enemies. If you just drop right off of that, go over and get hit by the grind, like the little grindy wheel thing, and you basically just hug that right around that first little like piece of flooring that doesn't move, for lack of a better term, the enemies never spawn in. You can do whatever the fuck you want at that point. And I was like, I'm too stupid to get that glitch to work. That's way too simple. It worked. It
Nice.
worked. And that cut like 15 minutes off of the time. And then like the final boss fight with Ares, the camera in that game and that boss fight does whatever the fuck it wants. And it very frustrating, but like once I got to the final phase of the boss fight, it was a cakewalk. It was what it was. I'm still holding out hope if there is a state of play in September, we see the Metroidvania God of War. Until then, I'm going to try not to think too hard about it because the idea of getting another Greek God of War game is cool. And also, I've seen like a lot of like, well, it's set way before Kratos becomes a god, so he'll just be a normal guy. He doesn't become a god until the end of the first game. So like, he can still be Ghost of Sparta with the fucking Blades of Chaos because I can't imagine what the game's going to play like if he doesn't have those.
You know, if you think too much about it, it'll end up being cancelled.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a video game in 2025.
Yep.
That shit about the Perfect Dark game basically just not really existing is crazy.
I heard there was a response to that from someone at Rare, but I didn't read it. God,
Fuck
dude.
Microsoft.
Fuck video games in 2025. Like, what a mess. What a mess of an industry.
Yeah, at this point, I honestly, my list of games coming out this year that I care about is so tiny. It's like Cosmic Invasion, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Yeah, that's it. It's like those two.
Like,
Because
if you have somebody that works for like a major publisher, like, how do you even create a game and think at the end of the day it's going to make a profit? With the way
or how
shit's
do you
going.
create a game and think at the end of the day it's going to see the light of day?
Well, that too, yeah.
Because there's a lot of shit going on over there at Microsoft and a lot of shit going on at Sony. You don't really hear about it with Nintendo because they keep everything in house.
Yeah.
But like, one of the reasons that God of War game sounded so interesting to me is like, oh, it's not a fucking AAA budget shit show.
Yeah.
And we need more of that. Like, I don't need every game in a major franchise to be like a 60-hour game padded with a bunch of bullshit content.
Well, the industry
I'm
also
actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was I'm kind of cool with games being like 6 hours with a bunch of replay value, like
Yeah,
the old God
me
of
too.
War games.
And the industry also needs games like that because they can't they can't keep releasing these AAA titles and like, you know, they all just fail. I mean, the thing is these days, and gamers are responsible for this too. Is always a push for like the graphics need to be better. The graphics need to be better, and they churn more and more money into it. And at the end of the day, they just don't get it back. It's crazy to me that they're talking about new consoles when it doesn't feel like these consoles have been used to the potential anyway. You know, it's just
No, they haven't.
it's fucked up.
Yeah, we got a ton of action figure news, like a ton.
Oh boy.
Do you want me to start with the Powertown shit?
Well, that's
Because I
exactly
feel
what I was
like
thinking. So
okay, so what day was it? So 6 days ago, so that'd be Monday. We finally got an update from our friends at fucking Powertown. Now, this is noteworthy because they don't like to talk to us a lot unless they want to ask us for money. The first two pictures posted were of I guess technically the Remcos. It was like 3 pictures of them on card. But I want to focus on the one of them just kind of standing there. That is a picture from November with the fucking background photoshopped out. Already not a great start. I also shared with my buddy from Wrestling Figure News, Steve Rosenthal, telling me in January that the Remcos were going to dock and then be land bridged to the fulfillment center. That was 6 months ago. Boat docking tomorrow. What happened? Where's that boat? Where's my figures? Not for nothing. The Remco samples that we saw on card, they look great. Been a fucking year and a half almost since the pre-order. But then, this is where it gets fun. They showed the TNA figures and like 4 of the Ultra Series 2 figures. Now, I've been around a long time. I can tell when something has been photographed and then a background was photoshopped in. That did them 0 favors here. Because you can tell if you just look at like the outline of these figures, white background with bright ass lighting on them. All of these figures look like garbage. Now, 2 points I want to make here before I really rip into them. One, the majors did do them dirty by saying, here's the figures coming to you this fall. They didn't say early work in progress. Okay. But also, Powertown hung the majors out to dry with their fucking response like, oh, we thought that was going to be clearly communicated. Before I talk about how these figures look, I want to make a point to everybody involved in this. One, the majors, you guys are fucking idiots. 2, and the more important point, Powertown, if you want these things to be shown, if you want there to be clear communication, just communicating yourself. Why was this offered by the fucking Major Wrestling Figure podcast and not Powertown's official channels? Why does their website have no new updates since March 5th? It still says the Remcos are en route shipping soon, and it still says on that website the TNA figures and the Ultra Series 2 are going to be shipped in fucking April. It makes no fucking sense to continue doing this bullshit. Either just admit you stole a bunch of fucking money and we're all a bunch of marks, or ship us our fucking figures. But between now and either of those conclusions, at least a little bit of communication that doesn't fucking smack of we're about to ask you to give us more money would be fucking appreciated. The TNA figures, even with what I just said about the lighting, still do not look great. Moose looks like shit. Very well earned. That guy sucks. Jordan Grace figure looks really not good, and there's also a significant chance Mattel beats them to market with a figure that looks better. Yeah. I'm not going to buy the Mattel figure. They got me with that whole first TNA wave because FOMO hit me like a motherfucker. The 2 figures I cared about in that wave were Josh Alexander and Eddie Edwards. One, because I've been a big fan of Eddie Edwards for a long time, was happy to finally see him get a figure. That figure looks like shit. Independent of all the lighting discrepancies and the fucking Photoshop background, it just does not look like Eddie Edwards. It is a bad figure. Josh Alexander looks terrible. In 2 years, when Jazzwares drops one, it will be a better figure than that. I am wholly confident in that. For the people that, like 3 years ago, that were in on that first wave of the Cella Impact figures, I feel bad. Y'all have been waiting 3 years for basically this exact same lineup, but with, Deonna Purrazzo getting swapped out for Josh Alexander when they did the Powertown TNA figures. And I'm not entirely convinced that what we're going to get now is going to be any better than what the Cella figures would have been if they would have had their shit together. It's ridiculous. And then there's Ultra Series 2. You want to know the one figure that was really fucked up by the lighting that I'm pretty sure, in the white background that I'm pretty sure they shot it against? Kamala. Either they made that figure much lighter than it needed to be and the lighting is fucked up, or the lighting in the background was that fucked up. Because that figure, skin tone wise, is way off. Yeah. The JYD, which I thought at the time the head sculpts didn't look great, in plastic, still don't look great. Wahoo looks good. I mean, we're not going to get another Wahoo figure ever again. If this one ships, that's the last Wahoo we're ever going to get. So, even if it isn't ideal, I'll still take it. And then the Medusa figure looks like Lacey Evans. And honestly, the render that they showed kind of looks like Lacey Evans too. But like I said to you, I'm at the point where a lot of these blonde, white Republican women just kind of look the same to me.
That's true.
Sorry.
I do think that the render looked quite a bit better. Again, the lighting plays
I
a factor.
agree.
The lighting plays a factor in it too, but it was just like it looked more detailed. The hair, her hair was down in the render. It just looked more realistic is the wrong word, but just like more natural, And you look at the one that they showed off, and she's got her hair in like a ponytail, and it's like almost like a neon yellow, like Harley Quinn dumped into acid or some shit. Yeah, it looks
Apparently, that's an
really.
alternate head sculpt.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll see what the other one looks like, but
Because they showed a second one that doesn't have that hairstyle. Actually, maybe that should. No, that's the alternate angle playing with me. Never mind. That's not an alternate head. My bad.
uh, yeah, like, my God, like Powertown. How could you get much worse? Like I don't know what to say at this point. That company needs to go.
And later that day, they put up the following statement. The released Powertown pre-production images of the Ultra Series 2 and TNA wrestling action figures represent work in progress, parentheses, WIP. Remco figures are final production and will be shipped via air freight to our fulfillment warehouse shortly. So what the fuck happened to the boat that was docking on January 13th, motherfucker? That was me. They didn't actually have that part in the statement. We had anticipated that the above was to be clearly communicated when the images were released. We see what you see as we navigate WIP. The figures have numerous changes and improvements that are in various stages: body and head modifications, skin tone, hair color, deco, etc., etc., etc. They literally put ETC 3 times in a row. This is super professional. Um, if we had released development images of Ultras 1 and Cardona Myers, you would have had the exact same concerns and reactions. Just ask Matt and Brian. We want to assure our community that Powertown has not changed manufacturing partners. We remain proudly partnered with the Lucky Group, one of the most skilled and respected action figure factories in China. Adjustments are currently underway to ensure incredible accuracy and authenticity. These refinements are part of our ongoing commitment to the same level of quality and craftsmanship seen in Ultra Series 1 and the acclaimed Cardona and Myers 2-pack. The end result will be exactly what you expect. As always, we appreciate your passion and support. As noted above, had we shared early production photos during previous releases, you would have seen how much evolves before final delivery. Again, the finished figures you will receive will unequivocally meet the high standards collectors expect from Powertown, Team Powertown. Okay, that's a lot of words that don't really mean anything, honestly.
And
Um,
also, if they've been refined and stuff, then like they must have images of what they look like in the current state. If those pictures got out, the first thing I would have been what I would have done would been like, oh, actually, no, this is what they look like now, and they didn't do that.
no, no, they have really. I mean, when My Damn Toys is doing a video basically shitting on you, you're probably fucking cooked. It is actually probably over.
Hmm.
I I know wrestling fans and wrestling action figure collectors especially love their slop and they'll just buy anything. I have a very hard time seeing Powertown having success with an Ultra Series 3 or a TNA or a Remco Wave 2. It really feels like they burned everyone.
They
And if I
burned.
were the majors, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah, they didn't just burn the bridges; they burned the whole fucking factory down. Like, holy shit!
Yeah, and there was speculation that maybe they'd switched factories, and allegedly they haven't. I'll be happy when I get my Remco figures in. Out of everything I ordered, those are the ones I'm most likely to keep because, I love that Magnum and Tully 2-pack.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
like as much of an asshole as Magnum TA has made himself out to be during this whole process, and it pains me actually to say that about a guy that I'm a big fan of. Like those figures look incredible. The Rock and Roll Express look incredible. Given how fucked Powertown are now, that's the only Bockwinkel we're gonna get from them.
Hmm.
So, and like the novelty of the first ever figures of Bobo and Missing Link. That's cool. And like, Tito and Duggan both have Legends deals, so they're probably going to actually get Superstars figures. I don't know that whatever Superstars figures they get are going to be as good as these. So, yeah, just holy shit, man. And then, like, Mitch is teasing an announcement this week for the Regium figures, which I'm assuming, if I had to put my money on anything, it's going to be a pre-order announcement for the Godwins. And golly gee whiz, I don't give a fuck about them. Just let me know when I can put money down on Mongo.
Yeah, he did show off his Bastion Booger recently, and I will say that the detail on like the singlet and stuff, or if you can call it that, is like a lot better than what Zombie did. Actually, it was really missing like the details there.
Yeah,
So it's cool that he did that. You also get a piece of pizza with it. So yay, you can put
yeah,
that in the you can put that in the slop or whatever.
I don't really get like doing the little offbeat accessories and then saying like it's exactly like Hasbro, because Hasbro
Then didn't really
accessories
do a
with
lot.
those figures were, yeah, they were very, very uncommon.
Mm.
And I'll reiterate your point about the attire. I honestly forgot about all the splotches and shit, and then I was like, oh no, he actually had those. My guess with the zombie thing is like we're gonna do the same fucking paint scheme that Hasbro would have done, because let's be honest, 95 Hasbro was not going to put detail on anything unless it absolutely fucking had to be there.
Right.
But I do like the render of the Mitch one. I don't know that I need two Bastion Boogers, and if I was going to keep one, honestly, it's going to be the one based off the Ron Rudat blueprints.
Well, I have two, and I only paid for one. He he he.
What honestly, you should have offloaded the one like right, because we've seen it with the Zombie Sailor stuff. When that stuff hits, is the best time to like offload it on the secondary market, because then
Yeah,
prices do come back down.
it's just
Speaking of zombie, go on.
it's annoying shipping stuff from here, especially. It's yeah, I don't like shipping stuff out. I always feel like there's going to be something that goes wrong. Also, like the post office doesn't seem to know what they're doing a lot of the time.
That's fair. That's also a problem here. Zombie Sailor created one of those broadcast channels on Instagram right before the Bruce Lee figures went up,
Yeah.
and I joined it because, like, whatever, if there's updates, that's cool. And then he dropped an update of a packaged sample without the carding details of the Pinnacle collection of Bill the Butcher, and yeah, it looks amazing.
Yep.
And then on his story yesterday, he showed an empty like carding shell for figure number 3 of series 1, which just I had to pull up the pictures and look. That's Bundy. So it seems like production's full steam ahead on those. Just given that it's July, and again with Zombie, we don't know when these pictures were actually fucking taken. But given that it's July, I am not optimistic about those being in hand by Christmas. But also, we had the whole fucking tariff situation and a lot of supply chain choking going on, like literally right after those figures went up for pre-order. So yeah. And also it's a Zombie Sailor figure. Christmas was like a super optimistic timeline that I never expected he was going to hit anyway.
When do you
I will
actually
say
think? Do you think like April, maybe?
I was literally, yeah, I was going to say probably around the 1 year mark of the pre-orders, because it looked like we were seeing the production process on like the Jeff Jarrett with like the singlet getting like the little stamp with all the polka dots. We were
Right.
seeing that like months and months before the pre-order.
Hmm.
So, and also he did mention those had a capped run size too.
That's right.
So my guess is whatever he was able to pre-sell before he had to cut the pre-order off, those are going to be like everything's going to be produced, but those will go out, and then the next time he does a big sale after that, it'll be the quote unquote restock, where all the ones that he didn't have a chance to fulfill via pre-orders will be, or maybe he'll do the second round of pre-orders when they're on the water, because that's like a legitimate less wait time, because now you know around about when the boat's going to dock.
Hmm.
We also saw the Shane Douglas figure. Apparently the tassels are being hand cut, which I kind of figured they were if they were soft goods, honestly. Um, we were supposed to have the pre-orders for the new generation retro wave by this point. I'm assuming that and Savage might have gotten pushed back to later this year. I'm guessing in 2 weeks during Comic-Con he'll do a video with Sam Roberts because he has for the last couple of years.
That's right, yeah.
And my hope, fingers fucking crossed, is that we see like some Pinnacle Collection Series 2 stuff and we get an update, although, you know, the updates for what they're worth, they're what he knows at that current moment, like updates on the ECW retro wave that he's, you know, shown a bunch of figures from and the new generation wave. It really felt like we were getting some momentum behind that line, and then, you know, trade war stupidity happened, and kind of here we are. He put up the other two Bruce Lee figures. They look cool. I don't necessarily need them right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I not something I would get.
if I was gonna buy a Bruce Lee, I'd probably just buy like the figure arts one,
Right,
honestly.
yeah.
Um,
We also saw the
go on.
we saw KWK's Bull Nakano, which blows the Cella one completely out the water.
And we've talked about how bad that cello one was a number of times on his, like, during the history of the show.
Yeah.
I figured the KW, like, it's an impossibly low bar to fucking jump over. Like, you could literally just like fucking drag a wagon over it. The bar is in hell with that figure. And the KWK ones look incredible.
Yeah, these are
Um,
a vast improvement from like the stuff that he's shown recently, like the Law of Resistance and stuff like that.
and the Ox Baker, and even like the Taka Michinoku and TJP, which I think are the most
Yeah.
recent ones that come out.
Mhm.
Those are fucking fantastic. I'm going to do my level best to get all three. Um, at minimum, I want to get. I'm pretty sure one of those variants is the gear she was wearing when I saw her at the Coldwater High School gym in 1994. So I have to at least get that one. But I want all three. It's Bull. She's my favorite women's wrestler of all time, and like flat out just one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
And he was asked about I don't remember what the poll was. It was like, what do people want to see next or whatever. And so Tenryu was on there, but also Super Delphin. And I don't remember hearing that he had signed him, which is really cool.
I don't think he announced Super Delphin being signed. I could be wrong on that.
I assumed everyone in the picture was people that he had signed because he had mentioned Tenryu before, and there was other people as well. And then there was Kevin Kelly, and I was like, oh, all right, I'll just ignore that.
I mean, I don't doubt that he signed Super Delphin. I'm just saying I don't remember like a.
No, I don't think so. But I think that's a really cool name that you just would not have expected at all. I think the fact that he's got Taka as well is like sounds like he's building like a little Michinoku Pro line or something.
It also makes me wonder what's going on with Master Republic and Great Sasuke.
Right, yeah. I would have had that
Is
out
there
like day
potential?
one.
Yeah, he needs to be in an upcoming collector's wave.
I mean, I wonder what's going on with them in general because, you know, we talked about before, but the Vampiro figures had issues, and it seems like they've really cooled down as well from when the initial Series 1 announcements were made and they came out. And, you know, people seem like really happy with them. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for them too.
I will say they've had some behind the scenes shit go on over the
Oh,
last
right,
year as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Should also
And the
mention,
tariff situation too.
yeah, of course, yeah. It's something I always forget about, but obviously that plays a factor. We also had Latuni had some new figures. There was Tito Santana and who's the other one now? My brains are not working. It's
Marty Jannetty.
Tito. Yeah, Tito Marty Jannetty and Marty just in like a midnight rocker style. They're Hasbro in scale, but the best way I could describe these figures and describe them like this to you is like if you took an image and you made the image wider but kept the height the same, you know, so they sort of look like squashed a little bit. Like their bodies look quite wide, but they're not necessarily that tall. They're kind of funky looking.
Yeah.
But Also, it's Latoony, so
That guy feels like he's just lighting money on fire. God bless him.
yeah. I mean, at least he's producing stuff. You know, at least it's coming out. I mean, if he wants to do it, okay.
He's not hurting anybody. It's very wild to see the shit he actually shows.
No, he's not. I mean, it's up to you if you want to buy them or not. He's like he's not definitely not hurting anybody. I mean, when his figures come out, and a few of them have come out, right? So, um,
Yeah, and apparently they're not like awful quality either.
no, it's not like somebody that's spending years and years developing something and without a result. I mean, these things are getting released.
Has he shown anything else? Because I feel like he's shown a bunch of shit recently.
That's the
Oh, he
only.
also he's doing an 8-inch Macho King that
Oh, okay.
looking looking at this figure, like the picture of it without the soft goods like on, the back looks like he scanned a fucking Superstars figure, and the arms kind of look like he did too.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I just, but the front of the torso looks like LJN Macho Man, and the legs still clearly are. I don't, and like he's got like veins all in his forearms, like he's fucking. I don't even know.
I don't care. I love that guy. I love what he does.
Yeah, no, it is very much a for the sickos toy line. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a very funny looking like action figure. Um, Jazzwares AEW revealed that the All In exclusive is American Flag MJF. It's currently available on Shop AEW. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
already bought yours.
Yeah, of course.
I I saw this and immediately was like, he doesn't come with the belt, and even if he did, who gives a shit?
Mm. Yeah, that's
Just
weak.
yeah, it's. I didn't like that shit when he was doing it last year, and I still don't like that shit now.
I don't really care for, but I think he only did it in Mexico, right? He's not like pushing it on regular TV again. Um, yeah, I don't think it's as bad as shit like Grande Luchador, whatever the fuck his name is, Americano. You know, I'd rather have.
Is that what he wore it all in last year? Actually, yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, it's like the Luga style trunks, right?
Yeah. Speaking of, did you see that they uploaded the Luger Yoko body slam, like the full hour-long event?
I did. I haven't watched it yet.
So I probably said this on the show before. That body slam challenge is the first wrestling thing I remember seeing. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that WWE Vault is like the best thing that company has done, maybe in ever. And I was saying to you the other day, it's so funny that we used to pay for the WWE Network, and we didn't even get this stuff. Like we're getting some like stuff that you'd never thought you'd ever see, and we're getting it for free.
Shout outs to finally getting the full 1985 Great American Bash also.
Yeah, I've asked the admin for the behind the scenes footage, or better quality if they have it, of the Nitro and Thunder rants,
Mm,
because I want to see Sting in that gear and stuff, like in better quality, and then try to figure out when that actually was recorded and stuff like that.
that'd be cool. I saw the post where it's like, oh, we haven't found Owen versus Angle, and I'm like, cool. I don't give a fuck. Where's Owen versus Sabu?
Yeah, that'd be crazy to see.
Because like 99 Owen was not the most motivated guy in the world. It's also like, if I remember correctly, that's in May of 99, so it's like a few weeks off from Over the Edge. It might be April. Either way,
99? Oh, you're talking about the Angle match, right?
yes.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
93 Owen in the blue and orange versus like 93 Sabu, even if they get 6 minutes, I'm willing to bet you it was probably the best thing on that fucking taping.
yeah. How they have not found it? They must still have stuff that's like uncategorized, right?
That's my guess. That or I mean, there's a picture of that match. I'm almost certain I've seen it. So it would just be a matter of finding the corresponding tape. And I mean, they gave us an Omni show that didn't have a main event because they didn't have it on the tape that they had. So, but this company's been so weird and meticulous about keeping their footage for so long that I can't imagine they don't have Owen and Angle kicking around somewhere.
Hmm.
Then again, they didn't have Brett versus Tom McGee. And by the way, did you know there's a fucking account on Instagram? It's somebody, I think they're from somewhere in the Middle East, but they have the full Brett and Tom McGee match. They uploaded it a few years ago. I would hate to scroll down their fucking page now because they upload like 8 million videos. But I remember like one of my friends sent that to me. I was like, is this the fucking match? And I was like, holy shit, it's the full fucking thing.
Makes you wonder how they got it.
I think that match might have actually aired on TV in the Middle East
Oh, interesting.
because there was a thing for a long time in the tape trading community. Like international episodes of like Wrestling Challenge would have like exclusive matches.
Yeah,
So maybe that was the thing. I don't know. They did upload the little Tom McGee Bret Hart documentary to YouTube, and I still to this day think it's really weird that they did that documentary without Cabana or Dave Meltzer because like those two guys were responsible for people having the curiosity.
yeah.
But instead we have Sam Roberts, who probably had never heard of Tom McGee before he sat down to fucking
Ugh.
record the talking head bit for that. And yeah, I love the WWE Vault. In getting that 85 Great American Bash, it's so strange how, and we got the two Hidden Gems 86 Bash shows also. Please watch those. Um, it's crazy how every time we get a full like Crockett House show, you kind of are just like beat over the head with the idea of like, oh no, they were the best promotion in the world.
Yeah,
They actually did have the best product. And like, and yeah, okay, they have Jimmy Valiant, and yeah, he really was kind of the shits, but like, watch that fucking crowd whenever he does anything. Motherfucker was over.
yeah.
And also, he's never in the ring for a long time. You still get like on that 85 Bash show, they do a dog collar match with like him and Paul Jones right after a 6-man tag that had fucking Karate Pants Billy Graham in it. That match was awesome. I have no idea how that happened, but it was great. And like, yeah, that was never going to be Starrcade 83, but it doesn't go that long. Crowd's really into it. It fucking doesn't overstay its welcome. Who cares? And also, right before that match, you get Dick Slater and Buzz Sawyer against Ole and Arn, which was real fucking good. And for the opener, you got Ron Bass versus Buddy Landell. They go Broadway, and it's awesome. And you get Flair and Nikita, which is a much better match than it is at Starrcade a year and a half later. And Dusty and Tully, they're in the cage and they're bleeding and they're going for it. By God, unsanctioned match, but still somehow for a title.
I'm glad they didn't like turn the picture black and white because there was something recently. I think it was like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell where they did that for like it was like I can't remember what video it was on, but like it was an older video where they didn't do that. So it's kind of you know when are they gonna do it? When aren't they? It's kind of frustrating when you when they do stuff like that. I don't know what YouTube's you know how they censor that stuff now. If whether they would restrict it or if it's okay now, I have no idea. But it seems
Well, I
like
mean, they
wishy washy.
uploaded TLC, and every time Edge swings the chair at Bubba Dudley, um, it does the freeze frame shit, which drives me nuts. We
Yeah,
know what's going on. Why are you censoring this?
it seems like I said, it just seems like it goes back and forth. Like he has the match uncensored. You can find the same match like 4 years ago, and you'll find it uncensored, and then you'll find a more recent upload which is edited. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's. Oh, speaking of figure news, Figure Collections finally put the BCW Hardys up for pre-order and their two sets of retro ones. I grabbed the black shirt BCWs because I hate the red and black. I know we talked about this, I think, when they were revealed, but it's been done so many times in action figure form because it's like it's their first action figure look. And
Right.
the black shirts, even with like the white stripes on like the shoulders and the sleeves, like that's the No Mercy 99 ladder match. I'm like 90% sure of that. That's if the Hardys got bone crunchers when I was a kid, that's how my brain envisions they would be.
Mhm.
He's got them like in plastic, like samples. They look amazing. And then the retros, he did red shirts for those too. But I bought the one where Matt's in a black shirt, Jeff's in a blue shirt, because again, that's if you would ask like 9-year-old me, hey, if I was going to give you two, like a set of Hardys that look exactly like the Hasbros you're still playing with, what would you want them to look like? That's probably what I'd want them to look like.
Were they the
So
ones that doing the Mike McGurk, or was that
that's
Title
Title Run
Run?
Toys.
Title Run, right? Yeah.
So part of the run-in series, like the Jumping Bomb Angels, where it's not going to be an open pre-order, it's going to have a capped run size. They're doing and Mike McGurk's a really interesting one because if Hasbro had the same philosophy as LJN, we might have actually gotten her. Probably not, just because it's like early '90s and the idea that like boys don't want to buy toys of girls, but like she would have been again if they had the same philosophy as LJN or God forbid later Jax. She would have been a perfect like ring package figure.
Yeah. And with there
Same thing with
being
Hebner.
a Hebner retro, that would complete the lineup of WrestleFest, right? As far as like retro figures go.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's cool.
because doesn't everybody in that game have a Hasbro?
Yes.
Hogan, Warrior, Perfect, Ted, Bossman, Smash, Crush, Hawk, Animal, Slaughter. Who the fuck am I forgetting?
You said perfect
Jake.
boss man. Jake, yeah.
So who's the last guy I'm forgetting? Earthquake. Yeah,
Yeah, so they've all got them, and then like I said, you've got like the Hebner retro from Zombie and now Mike McGurk, so that'd be everyone in that game. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. I never thought about it. Yeah, no, that's dope. We need somebody to do a 6-inch line or 6.5-inch line or whatever scale we're pretending the Mattel ones are. They have everybody from that game under merch deals except for LOD. I think it's time to fucking nut up and do that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, also on note of Jazzwares, there's going to be a panel of some sort at Starcast. Mark Briscoe and MJF are going to be there. There's going to be a mystery guest with a figure being revealed. There's all the rumors about the line. Maybe they're going to expand a classics line into there. Maybe they're going to go online only. My hot take that I said to somebody yesterday was if you're going online only, there's no excuse not to make every single offer a premium offering. So what I'm saying is every figure needs to be a Supreme.
Mm.
The best articulation possible, the highest amount of deco possible, the best soft goods you can possibly fucking make. Like the whole nine. Those, if they're going online only, unrivaled and unmatched, need to fuck off. You need to just pump out like 12 Supremes a year, like one per month. In a perfect world, two per month. Let's really like. There's a lot of motherfuckers that have come in that need figures, and there's some that need better figures. So let's fucking go. Oh, and also on note of Jazzers, because I have to get mad about this. We saw the Comic Con Swerve Strickland figure, one of 1,000. No problem there. He's in the Killmonger gear that he wore when he beat Samoa Joe. No problem there. The problem I have is he's got the Jimmy Rave robe that they cut from the mainline figure. So people were really looking forward to that figure. He even has, I'm pretty sure, the robe on the packaging shot.
Mm-hmm.
They cut that to do it on a one of 1,000 Comic Con exclusive that the overwhelming majority of people interested in this line are not going to fucking own.
Yeah, that's nasty.
That's so fucking grimy. And like Cardona and Myers keep jacking Jeremy Padawer off, like, oh, there was nobody marketing wrestling nostalgia before him. Bullshit. If he took the idea to WWE about the classic superstars in 03, okay, yeah, I believe that. But also the DVDs, the Legends in the video games, all the Legends of Wrestling games, the Figures Toy Company Legends of Wrestling figures, the art, like the classic wrestling DVDs that were being put out in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Basically, they're just saying WWE didn't market nostalgia, even though they did. Like, I don't understand the hero worship that Jeremy Padawer gets by wrestling figure fans, because to everybody else that pays attention to toys, they just think he's a fucking goof.
Yeah, I don't really pay much attention to him, to be honest. I would love a Swerve Predator figure, but I can't imagine that would ever happen.
I mean, they were willing to say fuck it and do Swerve and like Marvel inspired gear. So there's always a chance. It's just, are they going to wait 3 years to do it?
It's just the mask, I think, would be the helmet would be particularly like an issue, and they might have to like redesign it or something if they were to actually do it.
And maybe, I mean, he's got the Killmonger mask, I'm pretty sure.
No, well, maybe they could get away with it. I don't know. It just feels like that maybe too on the nose, but I don't know.
You're right. It honestly may be a little too close.
Disney's
When are
just
we going to
waiting
get the
for it.
fucking Beast Mordos?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Master Republic, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
may be better
From when
than
he was
what
Black Taurus.
that may be better than what Jazzwares would release.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's really toyanic, so they could.
Mm.
Oh, and speaking of people that are toyetic, because I kind of said that in a half-assed Danhausen-ish voice. Apparently, there's a big rubber guy of him that's being released soon, and okay,
I saw that
that's all I got.
they're doing an Electric Boogaloo Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Are they?
I believe so, yeah.
Uh, I I saw the thing you sent me about New Jack before you sent it to me, and then you sent it to me. So I figure it's wrestling video game news. Apparently, New Jack is going to have an entrance for one-on-one no DQ matches in 2K25, where he comes out with the trash can and throws it into the ring, and the weapons will scatter and they'll be usable. That's really cool. That's like
Yes.
dope. The caveat to that is it's WWE 2K25, so once that's over, he's not going to fucking play like New Jack, and it's that fucking game in general. And I know you can mod the theme song in on PC, but like that's the majority of players are not going to be able to have natural born killers. And there's maybe a debate to be had about if that song would be appropriate to put in a video game, but that song is like integral to the New Jack experience. And just it'll be cool to see him.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to get it, it would be, really edited anyway. I mean, it's a possibility that they could, but they did get
Yeah, the
50
game's
Cent.
rated T. They're not gonna have the they're not gonna have the actual cut.
No. But yeah, it sounds like some, effort's being put into it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I wish the game played better. One of my friends said to me yesterday, like all the like wonder and novelty of having Abyss in the game completely wore off the second I actually had to play as him.
Actually,
And I was like,
I had fun playing as Abyss. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's 2K at the end of the day, so it is it is what it is, really. But I had fun like beating Kane from like Triple H and stuff. Also, they did get his theme song, which I wasn't expecting, and that was really cool.
I was kind of hoping because they have the deal with WWE, but yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if they were gonna get it.
It's funny though because the profile picture of him is like him wearing like an Abyss style tuxedo, and it's like I don't know where that picture came from, but I guess it's the only one they had. I have no idea.
Why couldn't they just use the TNA picture like they did on that WCW AJ figure?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm
It's
way more
always
interested if
weird.
him having that, like the ability to do that stuff leads to him getting a figure.
Yeah, I mean it's possible now, right?
My only my only like apprehension about it, my only anxiety about it is I don't want this to be the version we get a figure of. I want
Right.
2005 of this.
What was like 2005? Was it like just all black gear?
The black shirt, the full black mask, the
Right.
chain with the entrance gear.
Yeah, okay.
He might have
And
had
then
shit like designs on the side of the shirt.
I think it was like 2007 is when he added red to the mask and like the sleeves and stuff.
Yeah. Is that '07 or is wait, no, is that the Hogan run when he's like Hogan's little buddy?
No, because if you remember, he had a red mask before that, and then later on when he was with Hogan, he still wore a red mask, but then he added like yellow to the attire as well. Because remember, the red mask was his look in the TNA game, I believe.
Is it? I remember the prison jumpsuit, and I remember he might have had like a red mask and like after the Sting thing.
Let's see. Maybe. Yeah, that's definitely what he wears. He wears a red mask in the Impact video game.
Yeah. So that's like when did they do the photography for that game? That would have been like '07.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why my mind was blanking on him not having the red mask in that game. I don't think we ever saw footage of him where he didn't have it in that game.
No, I don't think so. Then like he really screwed up his look and he changed the mask to look kind of shitty, and then at the end he just started wearing like face paint, right?
Yeah, okay, so he has the face paint at Against All Odds in '07, so maybe he does have that shit in like late '06. Maybe it's not after he wins the belt. Maybe he
You
actually
mean
has that.
you mean the red mask?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
We
so he
need
doesn't
like
have it when he wins the belt.
we need him with like the Abyss mask, but like the Prince Justice gear, like when he first appeared on like TNA Explosion or whatever, or in like IWA Puerto Rico.
God, shout outs to Abyss. That guy fucking ruled.
Yeah, I've never really been nostalgic for him, but like seeing him actually in 2Ks made me want to go back and check out his stuff. I mean, I enjoyed it at the time. It's just like didn't think about it because I don't really think about TNA a lot in general. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just really cool that he's in there.
He's a guy that I wish wasn't with the Fed.
Yeah, he's been there quite a while now too.
Yeah, he's like an agent. He was one of the reasons I watched TNA past the point where they were really pissing me off and I didn't enjoy the product a lot anymore.
Yeah.
It was like him and Joe. Because there was a point where I got sick of seeing AJ too, because like they turned him heel and then they made him like a little shithead goofball. But they didn't make him a shithead goofball in a way I thought was funny. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay, they ruined AJ.
They were
I was
actually
never like super big on Daniels. Like I
no, me either. They were talking about on the Deadlock podcast last week the episode of TNA. It was Kurt and Karen were like renewing their vows or whatever, and then AJ stepped in and somehow married Karen, and like they went on their honeymoon next week, and he took her to like a gator park or something, and yeah, it sounded definitely like TNA.
I just saw the Abyss entrance from 2K25, and here's my hot take: they could have put me in a mocap suit, and I would have done a way better job than this.
I don't think it's too
Like the
bad.
shit where
Are you talking about the stuff where he looks up at the flames and does that funny thing with his hands?
he does like the little fucking pose and like he like that the whole thing is wrong. It's fucking wrong. Why would you make it look this bad?
It is kind of weak, but the way he did it in real life kind of looked weird too.
Yeah, but they got it. They actually got it right with fucking Impact, and there's no reason that a game from 17 years later or whatever, 16 and a half years later can't do better, or at
Well,
least the same.
that game's just a very strange game when you think about it. For a game that was what it was. It wasn't. can't imagine it sold tremendously or anything, but like,
1.4 million.
oh, okay, that's probably good,
So
right? I have no idea.
I mean, it's about as many copies shipped as they had people watching the TV show.
Presentation wise, like, there's so much effort put into that game. It was pretty crazy. I mean, the models and shit was just out of this world. I mean,
That
the
is a game that I've gone back and forth on for a number of years. That game is like capital G good.
mm,
It's no better than that, no worse than that. They're like, oh, it's one of the worst wrestling games of all time. No, the fuck, it's not.
no, it's okay. It just needed obviously like expanded move sets, and that was the biggest thing for me. It's just I wish everyone had more moves.
Yeah, I liked the idea of there being like character archetypes, but I wished that there was a little bit more variety within them.
Yeah,
And also, like, why is Steiner Recliner a pinning finisher? But also,
yeah,
that's a
there's
game where they ran out of budget and ran out of time.
yeah. It would have been
So
interesting to see what the sequel would have looked like.
yeah, because all the fucking UI stuff we've seen looks really interesting. I would love to see like just an early gameplay match because there were supposed to be like six sides of steel and double team moves and expanded move sets.
Yeah,
And I mean, listen, if that game would have come out in like '09, 2010, like it was planned to, if Midway hadn't fucking, died, I still would have bought it. I was buying every wrestling game that came out, and then with a lot of them just regretting the fucking purchase because those SmackDown versus Raw games were fucking horrible. I don't care if they were your childhood games, they suck.
I didn't. I don't know if I don't remember what the case was. I don't think I had a PS3 or an Xbox at the time, so I like got a burned copy of like the PS2 version, which is the lesser copy, but it was generally the gameplay was the same. And then a few years later, I ended up getting it on PS3, and
With
I
the
remember
20
playing.
minute install.
Yeah, yeah, and I got a random message from Sonny Bourne. I was like, "What the hell are you playing this for?" And then I always hate PS3. Like, I don't like generally games on PS3. Like, I don't like them. I feel like the PS3 was not a good system. Didn't run very well. So I also ended up buying it on 360 as well. And I remember playing it a little bit in my apartment before I moved in. I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's not great by any means, but like I think there was potential. The foundation was there, and the foundation was there to build on. And unfortunately, they just never got the chance to. I mean, they did in a way with All Stars, but obviously that was a different monster at the end of the day.
Yeah. The thing with the PS3 is they made it purposely like really obtuse to fucking develop for,
I
which
hate
led
it.
to a lot of games that were multi-platform on that system not being what they were on the 360.
Yeah,
The
I just
PS3 exclusive games were fucking right on the money though. Like those
yeah. It
God
was
of
it
War
was just
3, MGS4. But if you were buying like shit that was on 360 as well, lots of pain.
yeah. Also, just like I hated like the UI. I hated how like the music would play anytime you hovered over a game. It's just like I don't need that. And I remember playing like the worst experience I had on the console was playing Poker Night, the game of like I think it had like LucasArts characters and like Valve characters and stuff. And I've never seen like frames drop so bad on a game. And it was a poker game. It wasn't like anything special. And I just couldn't believe how bad that game ran. I think I was on the PSP. I was like, this system kind of sucks. The best thing about it was probably like PlayStation Home. I love that.
I actually really liked the XMB. Like
I
I
didn't.
liked the home. Yeah, I liked it more than I liked the 360 dashboard, but also I don't know what the 360 dashboard looks like after like 2007.
Yeah, to me, like the 360 was just a lot faster, and it was just like quicker to navigate, and the PS3 just felt like slow when I was going through it.
Yeah. That SBR08 PS3 port is like all time like just awful shit. 30 FPS.
Yeah, I was new to buy stuff on 360 at that point. That I think the 360 was a great console, and others that besides like the Red Ring and shit like that. But I never had that problem.
That's like the last console generation where we got a lot of games that actually had some fucking sauce.
Yep.
Because PS4 killed that off.
Yeah. It's sad, you know. It feels like there's no like real defining. I mean, there was some good games. Don't get me wrong, but no real defining titles for PS4 and PS5, and it's the same for the Xbox as well. I'm sure there's other people that have different opinions on that, but there just doesn't feel like there was like that one killer game that everyone needed to own. It felt like you could have said that with something like the Uncharted games, but like the opinions on that now is like so mixed too. Like there's more like pushback on those games. Um, yeah, definitely consoles haven't felt special since like 360 to me. I've got the X and I had the Xbox One and stuff like that, but like they don't really differentiate. Like even the menus and stuff feel the same. They feel almost exactly the same if they aren't. So it just feels like you're buying like it's like version 1 or version 1.1, you know what I mean? It's like you don't feel now that you're getting a completely different experience with a new console because everything just sort of feels the same as opposed to, the leap from PS2 to PS3 or the original Xbox to Xbox 360. It felt much greater than it does now.
Yeah, PS4 is a weird system
It
because
is.
I remember right around like 2018, it felt like we were starting to get some like actual, like real quote unquote next gen games.
Mhm.
And then that console generation ends in 2020.
That's
So yeah,
probably
you
gonna
got,
be that'll probably be the same thing that happens with this one, right?
yeah. I don't know that this console generation has like a God of War, Insomniac, Spider Man, Red Dead Redemption 2 like level year coming. Not that Red Dead was like exclusive, but most of the people that I know that played it on PS4.
Yeah, I definitely did. Um, Now that you mention this thing, now I'm not so sure. Like it just, I don't have much faith in consoles anymore. Like I bought the Switch 2, and I've played it. I've played Mario Kart. I just don't have the money to buy anything else right now. And I had the free trial of the online, but now I don't have that anymore, so I can't even play online with it. So I'm not really doing too much with the Switch 2 right now, which is kind of frustrating. But
Because
I'm
that's a
waiting
huge
for
investment.
yeah, I'm waiting for that Donkey Kong game now.
That game looks incredible.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking forward, and hopefully financially I'll be able to get that and then get the online for whatever a year subscription or whatever the hell they do.
Like $35, I think is what it is now.
Yeah, it's probably like 45 here or something like 50. Um, I mean it's a good console, don't get me wrong. It's just also it feels like since that console came out and Mario Kart came out, there hasn't really been anything. I mean it hasn't been that long, but also there wasn't it didn't come out with like a bunch of killer titles, at least new ones. So that's be disappointing too.
Did you see that 2K25 is launching on Switch?
Yep.
I really expected they were going to hold off for 26.
I figured as well. Um but well, I mean we'll see how it runs. I mean it should run pretty well. It's not like the Switch 2 is like the Switch 1, so
Well,
guess
also
we'll
it's an
see.
in-house port. It's not being handled by somebody else,
Right. Right.
which I think is like that's the key thing here was the Switch 1 port was farmed out. And also apparently Tony Pizza Guy did a video. The Switch 1 version doesn't run like dog shit on the Switch 2, but like why would you bother?
Apparently like one of the old 2Ks runs one of the older ones like 18 or something runs pretty good on the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's the one that had a
Oh,
Switch 1
okay.
port, my bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely like, why would you bother? But that's funny though. That's someone revisited it and was like, yeah, this runs great. That's wild.
It's such a bad game.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother going back to it.
No, 2017 WWE is not something I'm eager to relive.
No.
And the future of consoles is so interesting because we know now that Xbox is doing the ROG Ally thing. We had leaks again recently of what the specs of I guess the handheld PS6 is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo basically did kick over the hornet's nest, like, hey, people actually are looking for this experience where they can take the shit with them. And obviously, Microsoft is basically throwing the towel in because, like, here you can have all your games from all the digital storefronts here, and Sony's like, yeah, we're probably not gonna let you play your shit on Xbox. And Nintendo's
So,
Nintendo, you're not going to be able to get that shit anywhere else.
so
And
you think Xbox is just gonna completely get out of console manufacturing? You think that's it?
I think the next one's probably it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if we have numbers on what the Series S and X are doing, but I know the Xbox One did not do great.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick.
I mean, with all their troubles, it just doesn't seem worth it for them.
And what bugs me is they made that huge investment into gaming, and the idea that they could just kill off fucking Activision, like, just
Mm-hmm.
unceremoniously, like, you're done. Um, so 28.3 million for the Series X and S.
I have no idea what that would be like, and whether good or bad, I've it's over my head. But I mean,
Less than the Genesis, the N64, and the Super NES.
they're always going to be in third place, right? So,
30 million less than the Xbox One, though.
oof. Yeah, I think it's just time for them to pull a Sega and just be a publisher and develop out into their own studios.
It feels like that's kind of what they're doing. Like, you can get Gears of War on fucking PS5 now.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think, like I said before, like the 360 was something special, and since then it just hasn't been the same. Um, and I think they've done good things with, like, having Xbox on PC, and the Game Pass that you can have for both console and PC, and incorporating it into everything into its own system. I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Although it seems to have hurt publishers and developers with games going actually on Game Pass and not having people buy them on day one. But yeah, I don't have any interest in buying another Xbox console.
Yeah, me either. But also, I haven't bought one since like '07.
I bought all of them, and I wonder why. I get caught in that trap of, like, I have the money at the time. There's a new console coming out, like I need to get it. But, like, the Series X, like, I haven't done anything with it other than, like, recently, like I made a Blu-ray for my dad of, like, old British wrestling stuff and showed him that, and I made one for myself, and I was watching it on that, and that's pretty much what I use it for these days.
You know what I read was that that Gears of War remaster is being built in Unreal 4 and optimized for handheld PCs, which is really
And
interesting because
yeah,
if that plays at a decent frame rate on the Steam Deck, I guess I'm finally playing through Gears of War 1.
yeah, it's funny when they announced that because I was like, didn't they release Ultimate? Like, you wouldn't need another one, but I didn't, think about at the time that it would be on PlayStation and stuff like that, which is obviously a big deal. Um,
And Steam too, because for some reason Ultimate didn't get released on Steam.
no, but it is on the Xbox, or sorry, yeah, Xbox app, on PC, so you can play it through there. Um, Also, I tested that game, the Ultimate Edition. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah, I was part of the test that someone leaked. leaked that it was a thing online and put the had like their gamer tag or something in the screenshots, and I'm sure they got in shit for that.
Oh yeah, like with the UFC 5 beta, when I got let in on that, you could not even take screenshots. Like
Yeah,
they shut that shit down. And also my username was just floating around the fucking screen the whole time, which was distracting too.
yeah, they do crazy shit like that. It's fun.
Like
I
I
haven't.
understand and appreciate watermarking that shit.
I don't even know if the company I tested for even exists anymore, but like they used to send me emails like all the time, like constantly, and you do a test, and then you'd get like paid for it like 4 months later or some shit like that. And
Huh.
it wasn't like going through an entire game or anything. Obviously, there's certain things that they wanted you to do, and you'd fill in like the information in your report before you send it in, and yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I tested like Watch Dogs when there was like a lot of hype around that, and like one of the Rainbow Six games, I think, and some of that stuff. It was Assassin's Creed. What was the one with multiple characters in it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. I've never really dabbled with that series past the first game.
I forget what it was called, but it was one that like had like a lot of glitches and like eyes popping out and stuff when it first came out. And it was funny because like the character models other than the player were all like pixelated. So they all look like PS1 or PS2 characters walking around. It was really interesting. But yeah, it was cool doing that stuff at the time. Wish I got to do more of it.
I I haven't gotten the opportunity to test that many video games, if I could be perfectly honest.
I think it was called Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity.
That sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Did
gonna
you
say
see
something else and completely fucking blanked. Go on.
did you see the leaked footage of the Damian Wayne Batman game?
No, I saw concept art.
It's very short. It was like Killer Croc on a motorbike, and he's like trying to get away from him. I think Damien's on like a bike as well. Can't remember. It was just a few seconds long.
Yeah, I saw the concept art. I didn't see any footage. I I will say I'm interested to see what happens with like the comic book games going forward because we have Cosmic Invasion. We know that Black Panther's never coming out now, which sucks. Iron Man's apparently still in development. Insomniac's doing whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't know what the DC side looks like. Obviously there was speculation when that Arkham VR game came out, like, oh, this might lead to another, proper game. I think we even talked about it when the VR game came out. Um,
Yeah, the it seems like the general um word going around is that like Rocksteady is making a new Batman game. Whether that's Arkham or not, nobody knows. Like there was one point there was talk of a remake, but then there's other people saying that maybe it's probably a new game. Like we don't really know right now.
I I worry about modern WB having influence on anything.
There's also
Like
a possibility of those getting cancelled as well, right?
yeah, there's that, but I also like if you fucking bungle a Batman game, it's a wrap. Like
Yeah.
everybody still wants to see the Superman game, and I'm one of them. But
Hmm.
like if you bungle something that was as automatic as like a Batman game, because there's very few bad ones ever. Like, man, I would quit. I would just quit.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure NetherRealm's probably working on Injustice 3 as well, which honestly, I like those games, but like going back and looking at them and seeing how Superman is portrayed in like the movie right now, it's like I really don't want to go back to that world. You know what I mean? It just feels like something
Ah,
that we've moved on from.
and also, like, Night had what felt like a pretty definitive conclusion.
Yeah. Oh no, I was talking about the Injustice games.
Oh,
Like, yeah. Do you really want to
my
go?
point still stands for Arkham, but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Injustice I don't get either, because that was like that was one of the rumors recently, right? Was Injustice 3 is being made, and like, why not just do like Marvel and Invincible both fucking revealed tag fighters recently?
Hmm.
Why not fucking do a DC tag fighter? And honestly, the money play there. Do a fucking DC tag fighter that looks like the old animated series.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Like, how? Well, also you'd have to use NetherRealm to do it, and NetherRealm. You could hand NetherRealm the fucking answer to 2 plus 2, and they'd still say it was 8 at this fucking point.
I just don't want to go back to that Injustice world. Like, I don't want to go. It just feels like it doesn't fit the current DC outlook. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like it fits anything current. Like,
No,
those
it's
are
like
those are very much like PS4 era fighting games when we're all coming down from the fucking Street Fighter 4 high.
yeah, but also like Superman himself. Like I use this as an example. It's like I don't want like a misguided or troubled Superman when you've got like the Superman in the movies that's bright and colorful and has crypto and stuff like that. I don't want to go back to that. It feels like we've passed it enough. I don't need an evil or conflicted Superman again.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in anything that DC is going to have their hands in video game wise, or to some extent movie wise either. I hope that beyond just hoping the Superman movie's good so that everybody's excited for it, gets what they want. I hope that movie makes whatever fucking mythical number like DC and fucking Warner Brothers have decided it needs to make. Because
Yeah,
like a lot of people's livelihoods depend on that fucking movie.
it'll be interesting too because the marketing for it has been insane. Like it's everywhere and like every country it seems.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm not as confident. Like when Wolverine and Deadpool came out, I was like, they're gonna steal a big number because X-Men '97 is still kind of fresh in people's minds, and it's like it's those two characters. I People seem excited for this movie in a way that I kind of didn't expect, given how bad Superman adjacent movies historically have been, or at least been perceived.
Hmm.
I does this do a billion? Maybe. Like, is a billion enough for Warner Brothers? Like, what's their magical number this has to hit?
Yeah, I
And
have no idea how it's gonna do, to be honest.
my hope is that it does well, but it also feels like we're still coming off of like the superhero fatigue, like the hangover,
Yeah.
and maybe leading with Superman's not the right choice because it doesn't feel like he's like the guaranteed. Like Batman's like the automatic, you're gonna fucking make a shit ton of money character for DC.
Yeah. Hmm.
And if Superman is a quote unquote disappointment, that potentially taints how they view that character forever, even though they do consider him one of the pillars. I saw that quote. They consider him one
Yeah.
of the pillars of the ECU. It's also weird. Like these movies should not have gigantic budgets and gigantic expectations. These are fucking comic book movies. And like 20 years ago, that movie would be shoved out, and even if it was disappointing, they'd still have a fucking sequel in development because at least they made some money off of it. Now, like you've got to fucking rank high on like the all-time box office numbers, or else you're considered a disappointment, and that makes no fucking sense to me. Just circle back. $350 million budget for Wolverine. What? Why? Why do we need a $350 million budget for a Wolverine game?
I have no idea. I think like we talked about earlier too, it's like this the public plays has played like a role in it. And it's also the fault of the the movies and the games themselves, but like the idea that like I really enjoyed Superman Lois, the CW show, and like a lot of the action scenes and stuff looked really good. Like Doomsday on that show looked incredible. But there was also some, CGI that looked like TV CGI. But that I think like that's fine, right? Like, it is what it is. You do what you can do. It's not like
Yeah,
embarrassing or anything like that. But like when it comes to movies and video games, it's like everyone demands like it's got to look real. It's got to look the best you can do. It's got to look incredible, photorealistic, yada yada. And if it's not, well, the CGI sucks or the graphics suck. Um, so obviously that's why the studios and publishers developers keep pumping so much money into these properties when, if everyone was a bit more understanding of that shit costs money and it doesn't have to look, super, super clean. And most of them it doesn't anyway. Like they try and it just doesn't meet people's expectations because people often expect too much. If people were a lot more understanding, then the budgets wouldn't be so inflated and stuff like that. There was a time you could watch Mortal Kombat and have like the shitty reptile CGI, but it's like this is still an enjoyable movie, and you understand what it is. But now it's like no, everything's got to look tip top, and we won't accept anything else. It's ridiculous.
yeah. I saw the fucking thing where Ed Boon was like, "Oh, the cast of the movie nailed it for the new one," and like,
Hmm.
independent of everything, Ed Boon is the last motherfucker I trust when it comes to anything Mortal Kombat related now.
Oh, he's gonna put anything over that's Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you're not gonna get us real opinions on anything.
No, but also like Ed Boon saying something is good. Like, yeah, the guy that was the creative force that gave us fucking Avengers Endgame and a Mortal Kombat game. That's a guy that I trust.
Well, yeah, I mean, from what we've heard of the movie, and also not that point that they could do anything like that. It's from what I've heard of it. I mean, we've both read like the spoilers and stuff. It sounds interesting, and I am looking forward to see what it looks like. We have the trailer coming out this month, so
Probably
and
Comic Con, right?
I don't think so. I don't. They haven't said anything official. They just keep saying July. And actually, Warner Brothers isn't going to be at Comic Con, so I'll have to see if there's been like any trailer ratings for it because it's possible we could get it next week with Superman. But whatever the case may be, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, all the reports were saying that it's a big step up from the first one. So I mean, hell, as long as it's enjoyable 2 hours or whatever, cool. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm always gonna hate them for the Cole Young thing.
Well, I won't spoil anything, but you know what
Well, no,
where I'm going
I've
with it.
read the spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just the idea that like we need an audience surrogate character for fucking Mortal Kombat.
it
Like we
was.
don't have Liu Kang.
Yeah, it was a real bad idea, and it kind of mind-boggling. I do wonder if, like, in the future they would try to adapt him into Scorpion, like if the series keeps on going, because then you could have a younger actor playing that role. Of him being his ancestor. I think that'd be an interesting way
Ugh.
to like keep Scorpion around, as a different person. I don't know, just an idea, because Hiroyuki Sanada, he's more on demand these days, so he's not going to be around forever.
Well, no, but also you can just recast it. It doesn't have to be like a different guy. It could still
Yeah,
just be
but
Hanzo Hasashi.
but that seems too easy for the way things are done now. Just recasting
Oh
the
yeah,
role, you
yeah. No,
know?
that they refused to recast T'Challa,
Yeah.
and like Boseman did amazing. Like even in the movies where he's not like specifically like he's really not that great in the actual Black Panther movie. He's still good.
Hmm.
But he's like incredible in fucking Civil War. Like I was like, that's the fucking guy right there. And so they didn't even recast him, and it's like like maybe people need to have an honest conversation with themselves about fandom and how that leads to people being expected to play these roles forever. Like, motherfucker, they recast Raiden in the second Mortal Kombat movie. I think they recast Sonya too.
Dude, they're so against recasting. They're probably gonna be all CGI Paul Walker with that next Fast and Furious movie, right?
I'm halfway convinced that's what they're gonna do. Or they're gonna
That's
get somebody to play him and they're gonna deep fake Paul Walker's fucking face and voice, which just
that's what they did with the previous, not the previous one, but the one before that, right? Because it was his brothers were stand-ins, and they CGI'd his face onto them for some scenes.
the only
I don't
use of
know.
that kind of shit I even halfway approve of at this point is NBA on NBC is gonna have the guy who did the like video packages. He also did stuff for the WWF in the mid '90s.
Mm,
They're gonna have his voice, but they got the family's fucking permission. So
yeah,
like,
which they would have for Fast and Furious as well, because like apparently
yeah,
when Vin Diesel talked about it, his mom was there and his brothers as well. But like, still, it's kind of like, oh, that's very strange.
it
I mean,
just yeah.
it's been done with other actors, obviously, like in Star Wars with like Carrie Fisher and shit, I'm forgetting his name.
They deep faked Mark Hamill at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, although I'm like specifically talking about like actors that have passed away. Um,
The guy that played Grand Moff Tarkin, maybe.
God, why can't I remember his name? He's in the Hammer horror films. Uh, anyway, yeah, like having like a CGI version of him well after he had passed and stuff like that. Um,
I hate it. Just recast these motherfuckers.
it's it's very it's very strange, but it's gonna be like that, with AI and shit. It's probably gonna be like that forever now. So
Yeah, I hate it.
yeah,
I I might go see that Mortal Kombat movie when it comes out. I may also just wait for it to hit Max. I was like, I was really gung ho that I was going to go see Superman and Fantastic Four, in theaters, but like my schedule this week basically leaves no time to see Superman opening week. Like Thursday night, I got to be up at like 5 in the morning on Friday, so like I'm not doing shit Thursday night except like trying to watch Collision, and then Friday that's the ROH show. I'm not gonna have time to fit anything in before that. And also, I've looked at the show times, and the last time I looked, there wasn't anything. There wasn't anything that was going to give me the ability to watch that and then get home and eat and have time for fucking ROH. Let me take a. My phone is being a prick right now.
I specifically took Thursday off to see Superman. It's showing at 2, and I was gonna go to that, but I might not be able to make it there. I might not even be able to make it on Thursday at all, which would be kind of disappointing. I hope I do. Um, but if not, then I'll probably see it on the weekend sometime. And I mean, the plan too is to go see it on the 17th in IMAX because I've never seen anything in IMAX before. I mean, that's if I like it, of course. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna go see it. Um, yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited that it's finally come out because someone that's a DC fan and follows all the movies and TV and shit like that. I've been following this obviously since day one, and it just felt like forever. This movie specifically, like the wait, it just felt like a long, long time. So it finally coming out next week feels like, or this week really. It's like really, we finally made it. It's really cool.
Yeah, looking at my local theater, Friday there was a showing at 4, which I don't know what the 2 hours and 19 minutes plus all the previews. I would have to beat ass home to be back in time for Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And ow, the fuck? That hurt. My elbow popped.
Oh,
I could potentially go see it after All In on Saturday, but also with everything I'm gonna have coming out of pocket this week, I'm not gonna have the ability to. So that'll probably hit Max in like September or October. I'll watch it. I why is there so in the coming soon section on my local theater's website, there are 3 movies that have already come and gone. And then there's Superman. Is that the only movie they're going to have in July?
That'd be crazy.
Oh, there's a Jurassic Park movie. I'm sorry, Jurassic World movie
Yeah, it
out
just came out this
currently.
week. Yeah.
Oh wow, they've got like a seating chart on my local theater's website. Oh my god, that's fucking funny. You can actually pick your chair out at the movie theater now instead of just buying
Yeah,
a ticket and sitting wherever the fuck you want. That's crazy.
ours does that as well. And it seemed like when they first introduced it, like a lot of people would use that. Now it seems like no one does anymore.
It's so God, that's so
You
funny to me.
still have to pick your seat though. Like when you go in person, you have to choose which one you want to sit in.
What happened to just fucking buying a ticket and sitting down, bro? Like what? That's so fucking foreign to me. Like when my cousin and I saw the Iron Claw, he's like, "We gotta look for seats 17 and 18," and I was like, "Motherfucker, what?
I'm okay with
What are you
it because
talking
like
about?"
because I don't have to sit next to people I don't want to, or so I don't have
Yeah,
somebody sitting next to me, which is cool.
that's fair. Um, Next Saturday, because we're going to be in the unique position next Sunday of talking about a show from the day before instead of previewing a pay per view. Obviously, is All In. Obviously, I had plans to go, and that didn't happen. And also, like my friend ended up having to pay a bunch of shit to get like his car fixed. So there's a significant chance, even if I had cobbled the money together, I'd still be going by myself. So it's going to suck not being there, but we do have a pretty decent idea of what the card is going to be as of 11:12 a.m. Eastern on July the 6th, 2025. Might as well take a gander at it and just give our thoughts in general. We have the Hurt Syndicate versus, I guess, Kevin Knight and Speedballer called Jet Speed. Oh, they called
Why
them that
not
on
the
TV
Von
last night.
Erichs?
And the Patriarchy.
Why not the Von
World Tag
Erichs?
Title match. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I imagine it would be really silly to not have them on the stadium show at all,
It's
but it should have been
bizarre
that.
to me. Yeah.
I'm guessing this is where they do some shit where the patriarchy turns on Christian and then Edge comes back. Because the, the money is going to be in Edge and Christian teaming in Toronto in September. I think at least.
Would you have him return on this show?
I mean, it's a big moment for your stadium show.
But I feel like if he returns, then FTR is going to be involved, right?
Well, FTR are also currently not announced for the show.
Right. Because I mean, they're the ones that put him out.
I think if the patriarchy turn on Christian and Edge makes the save, you could still do something with FTR the following week.
Maybe they
Well,
attack
no,
Edge and then Christian saves him.
something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're going to have Edge and Christian face the patriarchy before we get to the FTR thing, and the FTR thing feels like the obvious move for Toronto.
I feel like with Edge and Christian, there's got to be. I wish there was something more than him just saving Christian. Like, there's got to be a reason to bring them together other than that. Because considering their feud at AEW, like if it was like FTR that attacked him, that there's something there because obviously FTR took Edge out to begin with. But with the patriarchy, it just feels like why would he get himself involved? Like, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
but I don't know. We'll see.
they've got to come to a conclusion with the fucking patriarchy, though.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite a while with no direction, or at least no direction in sight.
Right. Um, Adam Cole defends the TNT title against Kyle Fletcher. It is time to fucking get that belt off Adam Cole. I know he's only had it for about 3 months.
Yeah.
He sucks. I'm sorry. I know that a lot of people really like him. They think he's a nice guy. Apparently he is. But whatever was there in 2011, 12, and 13 no longer fucking exists. He hasn't been that guy in a very long time, and he's never going to be that guy again. So move on. put the TNT belt on Fletcher. He absolutely needs. He's been, what is it? It's July the 6th. Since the Continental Classic at the end of November, he has been one of the most consistently entertaining acts in this entire fucking promotion. Give him the TNT belt.
The strap color needs to match whatever attire he's wearing. Like sometimes he wears pink, he needs a pink belt. Sometimes he wears red, he needs like a red strap. I think that'd be cool.
I think Hangman needs to get like a cow print strap for the heavyweight title. We'll get to that in a moment. So Swerve and Ospreay against the Young Bucks. There was a point where I was like, oh, maybe they're not going to do this. And then obviously right after the match where I was like, oh, they're going to do a draw and then they're going to set up the rematch at All In. Like, no, they do the angle to set up the tag match I thought they were going to do, which this should be very good. The Bucks have opponents that can be there for all of their shit and also have pretty dynamic offense of their own. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they can't challenge for the world title for 1 year. This is basically telling you, well, Ospreay's winning the belt when they go back to Wembley. If the Bucks lose, they'll be stripped of their EVP titles. So here's my thing on this. If the Bucks lose, that basically tells you Moxley's winning the main event because you can't have both of those groups win on one night. We've hit our destination with this shit, and I just feel like if the Bucks win, that kind of signals like, yep, the main event's going to have the ending we all want. I mean, maybe if you're one of those weirdos I saw on Blue Sky that's like, actually the Death Riders have been great this whole time. Maybe you want Moxley to win, but I don't know.
I think it is a good idea and a nice build to have Ospreay unable to challenge for the title for a year, but it's the one thing he wants. And then the time limits up, for next year. I think that's a good angle, I think. So
oh god, it just dawned on me. He loves AJ Styles. Do you remember the shit where they did the AJ and Daniels match where the loser couldn't challenge for the belt until at least Bound for Glory 2013?
Yeah.
Shout out.
So yeah, there's potential there for something like a good story. I mean, it depends what happens with Ospreay within the next year, right? I mean, we'll see, but unable to challenge, and then he's finally able to do so in his hometown. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and also when they lose, this gives like Swerve like an actual justification to turn.
Yeah,
if they want to go that route with him.
Yep.
We have the women's casino gauntlet. I think the only officially announced participant so far is Chris Statlander. There is a 4-way match set for Dynamite to determine number 2. Give me a second. I had it it was like right at the tip of my brain, and now it no longer is. I know Megan Bain's in it, and Tekla is in it, and I think Queen Aminata is in it, and Ty Mello. So help me God if I got that right off the top of my head. All right, so just load the WN.
I saw someone talking about FWC from Stardom might be in it. That's Hazuki and Koguma, who are doing like this thing where they're gonna work outside of Stardom. Also, Shuri's leaving Stardom for a bit. She's still with Stardom, but it seems like she's heading to the US, so there's a chance that she could be in it as well. That would be cool. We'll see.
So that is the match. It's Megan Bain, Ty Mello, Queen Aminata, and Tekla. The winner gets the number 2 spot in the casino gauntlet. With what they're doing with Willow, it almost would have made more sense to have Willow in this because they could have done Willow and Statlander together at the start because that's what they're doing with MJF and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the Actually, I don't even know who the hell wins the women's casino gauntlet.
And this is for a shot at the women's title, right? The world
The
title.
world title, yeah. I mean,
Mm,
Megan Bain's an interesting pick, but they've already fed her to Tony. And I don't know if Megan Bain and Mercedes Moné works right now. Maybe. I don't
I
know.
could see Statlander winning. I mean, it goes. There's some momentum behind her. I mean, they're teasing her joining the Death Rider, so to have her win the Battle Royal makes sense.
It also feels like they're just in a general sense teasing her as like Yuta's fucking follow up for the Death Riders.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of Yuta, him, Claudio, and presumably Gabe Kidd are going to be challenging the Ops for the trios belts. That was announced last night.
Which that's a handicap match because Yuta cannot see with that hair of his.
Well, he did have it brushed out of his face briefly when he
That dude
walked up
is
to
blind.
Statlander.
Yeah,
He's got like a fucking sheepdog haircut. It
he
rules.
does. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, if the Death Riders stick around after All In, I guess it is what it is. But Moxley absolutely has to lose the main event. We'll get to that when we get to it. Um, it feels like the Ops as trios champions were kind of a waste in the sense of they won the belts and they've not really done
I haven't done
anything with
anything.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's the
It-
trios belts. They don't give a fuck about those things.
do you think that they potentially use it to set up the Death Riders against Bullet Club at Forbidden Door?
Mm, maybe.
Yeah, if like something happens, I can see a case of where like Gabe Kidd and Yuta don't get along, which causes them to lose the match. Maybe just a guess. Obviously I don't know, but I don't think I would have the Death Riders win. I mean, as you said, the Ops have kind of been like a waste since because they haven't done anything with the titles. But like of the two teams, I think I'd rather have them continue their reign and whoever their opponents are going to be for Forbidden Door, if they're even on the card, we'll see.
Yeah, I. This really needs to be Starcade '97 the way it should have been, where like the fucking heel stable just loses.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get that though. Men's Casino Gauntlet. We know that Mark Briscoe and MJF are numbers 1 and 2 respectively, and Mystico was also announced last night. This may be where Darby Allin shows. Actually, if Darby Allin's in this, he probably wins it. But if Darby Allin wins it, that says potentially something bad about the main event.
Mm.
Actually, you know what? Darby Allin winning that and then doing the fucking Money in the Bank cash in to end the whole fucking thing. If Moxley beats Hangman, that's not exactly a satisfying ending, and it also kills Hangman deader than a plate full of piss. But that would be something. I still think MJF wins this though, and I think they're going to do MJF and Hangman because that is a huge match that they really haven't like prostituted that one out too much. They haven't really done it like they did it at Revolution, and Hangman almost killed him with the funniest Angel's Wings I've ever seen in my life. I'm glad Max is okay. Um, but that's a big world title match, and also they were the final two in the first Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And I think the first Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal came down to those two as well.
I'm not sure, but possibly.
I think it came down to those two, and then the next year it was Hangman and or not Hangman, MJF and Orange Cassidy, and then I don't remember who the fuck it came down to in 2021, but I know Max won.
What's Orange Cassidy's status right now?
I think he has a torn pec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wish him the best. Shout outs to Fire Ant. Shout outs to Chikara, even though Quack was a fucking weirdo and a creep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have the match for the AEW Unified title: Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. That Kenny interview on Observer Radio, I saw quotes from talking about how he takes everything day to day and he's in pain constantly. And there's days where he'll just like full weeks where he'll be in bed by 5 or 6 p.m.
That's
I
not
believe
good.
every word that he's saying. It also feels like some shit Kenny Omega says before he goes absolutely fucking batshit in a big match.
Yeah.
Um, he went from a guy that I really did not like very much to a guy that I have tremendous respect for and fully, completely acknowledge that, yeah, he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. If this is it for him in terms of big matches, it's the most fitting scenario possible and it's the most fitting opponent possible. There's a lot that's been made about like fucking paycheck collecting Okada. I don't think that guy shows up on Saturday. I very much think we get actual like big match Rainmaker.
I
I
I like
oh,
how on Dynamite, Jesus, Okada seemed to like really get into it after Ibushi did the top rope Tiger Driver. Like that seemed to wake him up. Except he still did that lazy elbow, which I thought was funny. Um, yeah, I'm expecting this to be really good. I wonder if the winner gets Tanahashi.
mm, oh, that's an interesting because they got to do Okada Tanahashi one last time, right?
You'd think so, yeah.
I know that like the long game is probably Tanahashi dropping a fall to somebody at the Dome. But listen, that's going to be broadcast live on like Big Asahi for the first time in like 20 fucking years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You gotta look, man. You gotta get Okada back. That needs to be those two for like have Okada hold the AEW Unified belt. He realistically he never needs to fucking lose. He's goddamn Kazuchika Okada. Whatever bridge that may have been burned or whatever, mend that shit. Send him over there and put those two motherfuckers on live TV. I guarantee you that shit does like an incredible number. And listen, man, if anybody's going to get like a legitimately great match out of fucking the rotting husk of Tanahashi at this point, it's probably actually Okada.
Yeah. It's
He
it's
is he
possible
is very much the one.
it's possible that Kenny wins and they still have Kenny versus Tanahashi because that's a big match as well for Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
Then, bring Okada over for the Tokyo Dome.
yeah. I feel like with the heavy heat angle they did, Kenny almost has to beat Okada. But
Yeah,
also, Okada's only beaten him once.
that's true.
I think either way, I know the ceiling on this match is not as high as the 2017 match at the Dome because it can't be, right? It's
Because it's an
been
open stadium.
well, yes. Well, no, they can close the roof,
Oh, okay.
but like it's 8 years later. Kenny's obviously had his health issues, a lot of them.
Yeah.
This still has a really good shot at being the best thing on the show.
Hmm.
It's those two guys in a big fucking stadium show. They have just short of 20,500 tickets out. By the time that show goes on, they're going to have 25 in that building. And honestly, we've seen promotions paper stadium shows full the day of. It's entirely possible if they paper it hard enough, they can get to 30, 35.
Yeah,
More
that's
likely
true.
25.
Yeah.
But biggest crowd they've ever drawn in North America. Those guys are going to do it. They're going to fucking have. They're going to have the best match they're possibly capable of having.
Someone was talking about the attendance today on Twitter, and another guy responded and said, I'm gonna let you cook, but TNA had a show in 2024 with 20K, and everyone's like, what? What are you talking about? You realize K means thousand, right?
Yeah, and they've also never drawn 20,000 in the history of the company.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And at this point, this is the fourth time AEW's drawn 20,000 people.
But it's a dead promotion, right? It's dying.
Grand Slam, the two Wembley shows, and this. And actually, the fact that they have with this show, they've got the record for the highest non WWE gate ever in North America.
Hmm.
How anybody can look at this promotion, especially over like the last like 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and go, oh, yeah, no, they're dead. They're cooked. I've been fairly negative on this promotion. We've literally been doing a podcast for almost 3 years now. My ups and downs have been chronicled, obviously. that product has been excellent for the last several months, and it feels like there is a turnaround happening now. Whether or not it's sustained or it leads to anything bigger, who the fuck knows? But like, we're riding an incredible wave right now, and
Yeah, but it's a very enjoyable product overall. You get the people that constantly go on about ratings and shit, but who gives a shit? Like, we at the end of the day, we don't know anything about the financials of the company, really, right?
no, we know
So
the ballpark number for what the TV deal is, and that's it.
yeah, and we know his Tony Khan and his family are very rich, and Tony Khan loves his shit, and he's not going to let it die anytime soon. So the fact that there's people still like dooming AEW in 2025 is just fucking crazy to me.
And also, like, I saw the thumbnail of like a Stevie Richards video where it's like him glaring and there's like the WB logo behind it. Like, Tony
Ugh.
Khan should be very worried. Here's the thing. If something happens with Warner Brothers and Tony Khan needs a new television partner, do you really think there's not a number of fucking media companies out there that wouldn't bend over backwards to have something that regularly charts at the top of fucking cable on Wednesday night?
Hmm.
Do you really think that, like, do you really think Fox wouldn't make a play for it at that point just to have something to bolster FS1?
Yeah, of course, there'd be other avenues.
Yeah, they're not fucking going anywhere. And also, Amazon dipped their toe in on the pay-per-views. They're the main pay-per-view provider in America now for AEW. You don't think after Amazon lost out on the WWE rights, they wouldn't fucking jump at the chance to have AEW?
Yeah, of course.
Like, come on. And like, oh well, they only run smaller venues now. Yeah, and the crowds are fucking electric for them. They drew 5,000 people for fucking Dynamite and Collision on Wednesday. The existence of this company makes people so angry in a way that makes no sense to me. I'm honestly kind of curious if TNA was ever successful like this, how much more deranged the fucking discourse would have been around that company.
Yeah.
But like, less than a year in, they had a fucking action figure company with a major toy company with somebody in charge that had experience getting wrestling figures onto shelves, and also the designer Magic having experience designing some of the WWE figures. A year and a half in, it was announced that a year and a half in from Double or Nothing 2019, I mean, it was announced they had a video game in development with the people that had made basically to that point all of the well-received WWE games post Aki.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the first promotion to actually pique the interest of Warner Media since fucking they booted WCW out the door. This is not like, oh, daddy's money. No, being the son of a billionaire NFL owner probably opens some of those doors, but it's not the only reason.
No, and
And
it's what they've done since the formation and getting on WB and stuff, like, kind of incredible when you think about it.
yeah, like, we never thought this was going to happen again.
No.
Like, TNA being on Spike in 05 was crazy because like they just lost WWE. But like, none of us in a million years would have ever expected TNA to have been what AEW's been. And honestly, I laughed at that first like pep rally they did in Jacksonville where it's like, look at this fucking roster. Come on now. But like, the fact that it's been a competitive promotion and at points was doing better in the 18 to 49 than WWE, that's crazy.
Yeah.
There's still two matches we have to talk about too. We got Toni Storm and Mercedes for the women's title. I am expecting both of these girls to go absolutely fucking insane in this
I'm
match.
expecting it to be really good.
I could see an argument for either of them winning. I also think the discourse around Mercedes right now is ridiculous. Creative control does not mean what these dumb fucks on Twitter think it means, or Blue Sky for that matter.
Also,
Creative
like,
control is the Hulk Hogan thing of like, I have
it's written
final
into your
say. Somebody
contract. Yeah.
having, yeah, input is not the same thing. John Moxley had creative input on the Death Riders angle. That was not creative control. All of Jericho's stuff is creative input. Notice I'm mentioning all the guys that suck. I don't
I
think
also
Mercedes is saying that doesn't work for me.
It's also funny. I saw someone complaining about like all the titles she has and stuff. Like, but you don't watch any of those promotions anyway. So what do you care? You're really watching a promotion from Austria? I don't think so. So like,
Yeah, and like
what does it matter
even
to you?
beyond that, yeah, like I saw somebody like, oh, she used her creative control on all of these companies. You don't have creative control in the indies, you dumb motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they made a
It's,
champion because she's a star. You know?
yeah, like I said, I can see the argument for either of them winning. I also
Uh,
question what the fuck you have Tony Storm do if she loses.
I think Mercedes will win just to give her another title. And then you can have her do the Ultimo Dragon picture. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know where Tony goes from here. I don't know where Mercedes goes either. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm sure there'll be a build to. There's probably going to be something building to both of them, if not on the same show. Then obviously Dynamite for the next feuds. Um, like I said before, if Shuri's coming in, then I hope she gets a good spot.
It's going to be interesting to see. And then obviously the main event announced on
Also,
Wednesday, Texas Death Match. Oh, go on.
just before we go on the next one, also with Forbidden Doors, like I think Stardom has a show that same day, but are they willing to send anyone over? Maybe the Tony or Mercedes could face is again Shuri might already be there, so that's a thing too. Like I would have Saya Kamatani on that Forbidden Door show. I think if there's anyone you can bring over from Stardom. I mean, not only is she the champion, but she's got like mainstream appeal now, and I think if there was anyone from Stardom that was going to be on that show, it should be her.
But do you want to feed your champion to the
Oh no,
AEW Women's
no.
Champion?
I goddamn hell no, I'm not feeding her to anyone. She should beat whoever she faces. But again, yeah, you're right. Like, if it's a women's match, you think AEW is probably gonna win that, but maybe they could do like a six women tag somewhere or something. I don't know.
I could see if they're willing to spare the talent for that, they could do
Yeah.
that on like the buy-in probably because they
Exactly,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't throw that card. Main event though announced Wednesday. We're getting a Texas Death Match with Moxley and Hangman, which I said on Blue Sky basically guarantees like a good match because they're both going to bleed.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of plunder stupidity. This is the match where I'm expecting more run-ins than we've ever seen in an AEW main event
Yeah.
because I think there kind of needs to be too. A friend of mine was like, Hangman needs to beat Moxley clean, and I think I'd mentioned this the last time we recorded. And my thing about that is, no, he doesn't. The only thing that matters here is that Moxley fucking loses. If it comes at the end of Sting and Darby Allin and fucking Osprey and Swerve and all these motherfuckers running in to fight off the Death Riders, the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, Gabe Kidd, 123 Kid, fucking Jason Kidd, whoever the fuck comes out, then as
Dynamite
long as
Kid?
Hangman wins at the end, well, I mean Tommy Jr. might be there, yeah. Why aren't they fucking booking him? He's awesome.
I don't know. Did he get injured or something? Because I thought that would have been the case
I
with him
think
not
he's
being
just
around.
benched.
That's crazy.
Especially because he works exactly like his uncle. I would have that motherfucker on every show.
He should wrestle
Every time
Tiger
he's
Mask
gone, he's been great.
because he's
Yes.
retiring next year, I believe.
My other big brain thing is he should also wrestle the new Hayabusa.
Yes. Also, like hologram.
Yes.
Yep.
Beast Mordos would be another one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, anybody that's like a junior heavyweight with any sort of gimmick, I want that guy against him.
Yeah, that Hayabusa needs to step out of 0-1. I mean, come on.
He needs to go to a promotion that actually makes tape.
Yeah. Oh,
Because a lot
I
of
did
people seem
see.
to like him from the clips of the Tanaka match.
I
And
watched
like,
the match between him. It was him and Shinsaki against Tanaka and Mammoth Suzuki from Kawasaki Stadium. Um, if you're a Jinsei Shinzaki fan, that match was pretty sad. Like I don't know if it was maybe it's because it was outdoors and maybe it was raining and the ropes were slippy or whatever. But like he fell a lot, like doing his rope walk and some other stuff, which was it's kind of tough to see.
Do you remember when Bahu was? I think it was Bahu was translating his like shit he was sending into like Weekly Pro or whatever. There was a
Yep.
picture of him at a bar, and I'm pretty sure it was Pierre's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Not that I would know what the inside of that bar looks like because I've actually never been there, but I that's like the first thing I think of now when I think of Shinzaki was that motherfucker. That motherfucker was at a place that like my cousins used to tell me stories about, like years after Shinzaki was there, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, Love that guy though. The Muda final bye bye match where he's basically just getting the shit kicked out of him the entire match was very fun. To see him in the ring
Yeah.
with like Darby Allin was crazy.
Sting too, and the bump he took for Sting over the like
Yeah.
into the guardrail or the table, I think was nuts.
Yeah, that match was awesome.
Yeah.
I expect Hangman to win. It's the logical outcome here. Because if you don't do it here, when the fuck are you going to drag the Death Riders out for another year?
You have to do it, yeah, and then he opens a briefcase and everyone sees the belt for the first time in forever and everyone cheers. That's the ending.
I was gonna say I was kind of expecting you to say like he opens the briefcase and it's actually like the CZW title.
Remember when they were doing the Seth Rollins briefcase thing and Ambrose stole it and he opened it and he got slimed? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, that's an era of WWE television that
He's gonna recreate
happened.
that.
God, what a fuck! I
He's
hate
gonna
the idea of not seeing the belt. That's like it's so dumb. I get the symbolism. Like nobody
Mhm.
deserves to see the belt because nobody's willing to step up. But like, fuck, man.
I just do like the idea of that when you finally see it, it should be a big pop from the crowd because it's been so long. I just I think that's a cool thing, but yeah, I don't like the title being hidden.
They should unveil a new belt that looks exactly like the big gold.
Yeah, is it time for a new belt? It probably is.
I mean, they gave the women's title an overhaul like 3 years in,
True. I do like
and I mean that belt. Oh, go on.
the unified belt seems like what does it reference? It feels like it's sort of inspired by like the Triple Crown, like also maybe the IWGP as well.
Yeah, it also kind of sort of looks like a larger version of the original women's title too.
Yeah, it's a really cool belt.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be interesting to see like how they handle the T1 this year.
Yeah.
So if you purchase on Prime Video, I think this might just be for the US. But if you buy All In between now and the 12th, you get a $10 Prime Video credit for whatever the hell that's worth.
Oh, you
Does that like can that be applied to the next pay-per-view because Forbidden Door is the following month?
maybe
Because I'll take
Re-
Forbidden Door for what would that be, $40?
read the terms and conditions.
That's actually what I was going to Amazon to do. Because I have the
All I know is
age
that
right.
when I ordered the last show, it was like the pricing on Amazon and YouTube was like ridiculous. I think Amazon was like 50 and YouTube was like 60. And I used the VPN and got it on Fight for like $30.
Okay, so the Prime Video website does not actually mention the $10 credit.
Oh,
Hold on. I'm on the page for the event itself, though. Give me where in the fuck? I literally just saw this graphic. Where the fuck is it? Oh, wait, no, that's not it. I'm sure this is riveting audio. Okay, there it is. So I gotta go to Amazon.com/AEW All that is the page. Amazon.com/AEW All In. So it expires 30 days after the date issued. So you could not use that on Forbidden Door.
Speaking of Amazon, I was very frustrated that they had those early Superman screenings and they were US only. That was very annoying.
So unless they put Forbidden Door up like mad early, you actually can't use the that kind of sucks.
Well, you can buy some direct-to-video, direct-to-streaming movie then, you know? Possible mission, maybe.
Blah. But I'm looking forward to this show. I don't know if it's the pay-per-view I've looked forward to the most from them because it doesn't feel like All Out 2021 when it was like Punk's first match in however long, 7 years, and you had the Omega Christian match and the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers in the cage and like Kojima wrestling Moxley. We all thought Eddie Kingston was going to win until Miro pissed his pants about losing to somebody that had never been in the WWE. Like, that fucking matters. It's probably about on par with like All In last year. Like, holy shit, Brian's going to win one last world title. Although I think this card looks much better than last year's All In.
Yeah, it's. I feel like, especially recently, it's hard to be disappointed by an AEW pay-per-view. Like, even if on card, there's some matches that don't seem like as stellar. Like, and this one's got like pretty good matches all around. But at the end of the day, you feel like you've got your money's worth when it ends. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a fun show, and I think production-wise it'll be fun. And do they use Machine Head by Bush though? That's the question. Or is that going to be London exclusive?
I don't think they've played that for any of the like little hype segments.
I understand playing it in London, but that should be the All In theme.
See, I'm of a different mind. I think this needs to be "God Bless Texas" by Little Texas. I don't care that doesn't make any sense for a wrestling pay-per-view. I just think it's funny. Also, if you ever watch the music video, like everybody in the band looks like somebody that would get squashed on Saturday night during that era. So
When they're in Australia,
there's like one dude in that band. I'm pretty sure. Like when I was little, I just thought he was Brad Armstrong.
it might have been. You never know.
Yeah, it might not have been Little Texas that I'm thinking of either. But yeah, that's.
Did you see?
I would.
Did you see Scott Armstrong's having a retirement match?
No.
Yeah, he looks like an old jacked man. That's a weird sentence to put together. There's probably a Google search for that, but they got to use the Rock Garden theme from WCW, the Armstrong theme. I always think about that whenever I think of any Armstrong.
Why is he having a retirement match?
I don't know. He gets paid for it.
Is that the one that was a ref that got mad at me because I made a joke about like someone asked what he was going to be for Halloween one year. He's like, oh, I'm going to be a ref. And I'm like, wouldn't you rather be somebody that like actually kind of matters? And then he blocked me and I was like, damn, bro. All right. I was like 19 or 20 and a much shittier person than I am now. Now I would just be like, yeah, you know what? Brad was really cool. The rest of you guys kind of suck.
I'm trying to think of who he looks like in his retirement match poster here. You know, he looks like the Mr. Baseball guy. Is it Bob Uecker?
Man, R.I.P. to Bob Uecker. He passed away recently.
Yeah, I sent you the poster, by the way.
Oh God, here we go. He kind of looks like if somebody AI'd Bob Uecker's head onto an old picture of Bullet Bob. Yeah. And look at the rest of these fuckers on the poster. God, it's in Theodore, Alabama.
Yeah, the dude on the left just looks like some streamer or something.
Jesus, man.
Pay the piper
I
too.
there's a whole world of Southern indies that I think would be really fascinating to delve into, but I don't think a lot of them make tape.
Have you ever seen NWA Mountain State?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, you need to search for that. They did these videos on YouTube years ago, and they did like intros for the wrestlers to Welcome to the Jungle. And there was a very skinny kid called Diablo Jr. He goes, Diablo Jr., the best in the world today, rah! And like there's another video where one of the guys gets hit by a car, but the car gently slowly comes towards him and he just like jumps on it, and these two fat guys get out of the car and start kicking him. It's so good. You need to see those videos.
I will look those up. Oh God, NWA Mountain State Show 302, and there's Adam Pierce.
See if you can find the intro. I want your live reaction to it
The
because it's
oh
so
09
good.
2010 one?
Probably
Okay, well, this video apparently has Kickstart My Heart.
I thought I
Is
welcome
the
to the
Okay, hold on, I gotta pull this up on the TV in the living room because that would be a little bit further. I'm a lot further away from the TV if I sit here on the couch than I would be if I played that on my computer and we got copyright struck on YouTube. Oh, they put a Beach Blast 92. God damn. Well, first off, the production values here are astounding.
it's the 2009 2010, I believe.
Yeah, they're playing Kickstart My Heart for Carl.
Yeah, that's a different
Oh,
one.
now they're playing Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, okay.
Frank Parker, one word.
Yep. Johnny Blast is
The
another one.
Bunkhouse Boys.
Yes, those are the dudes that run over the other dude.
Shout outs to Diablo Jr. Why does he not have
Yes.
Fire Pro edit?
Raph. Head of security, somebody, and the commentator's last name is Styles, and he's a dude with glasses.
Legit dynamite. These guys. Oh God, it's Larry Light and Joe Rage, whoever the fuck they are.
Yeah, the commentator and the security.
Jonathan Styles looking like Scott D'Amore.
Yep.
The best wrestling promotion in West Virginia. I'm sure it is.
Is
Golly, man.
any familiar faces popped up yet?
None that were immediately recognizable to me.
There's only one in it, I believe.
Okay, who am I looking for? Because these all just look like the Getty Images jobbers and is that Maestro guy that Zicky Dice guy from like the NWA?
No, it's the maestro from WCW.
Oh, that was my second guess. Honestly, you know what this intro gives off? Like Thunder Rant vibes, honestly.
A bit, yeah. It also feels like a fake promotion that would be in like a TV show or something.
A little bit like that stupid fucking Heels show that used the TNA footage, and apparently Mike O'Malley is the promoter of TNA in that
Yeah,
show.
that's right.
He didn't ask anybody if they had guts, though.
What was it? There's what's the crazy guy in that video that like unplugs a wire or plugs in a wire and gets electrocuted or something? In the intro.
Why did they zoom in on Larry Light?
They had bad lighting. I don't know.
I have so many questions about how we got here. Like as a
I
fandom and as a culture.
I don't know where I first saw that video. It might have been on Woo on 420 Chan when that was a thing. Might have been where I saw it originally.
Oh, it's Carl that does the unplugging
Yes,
thing.
he's the one that gets hit by the car.
Jesus Christ. I have no words. This
It's the
is
best.
yeah, it's something. Having said that though, we'll be back next week, I think, right? Yeah, next week. If not 2
Yep.
weeks, next week. We'll
Mhm.
talk Day of Reckoning 2 and all of the things that go with that game, I guess. We'll also talk about All In. Hopefully nothing significantly stupid happens during this week that we have to go over in grand detail, like the fucking Powertown debacle. I didn't even get nearly as mad about that as I thought I was going to. But just goddamn man, what an exhausting time to be alive. Not only as a fan of things, but also just a human being in the United States of America. This shit sucks. Excuse me. That's actually kind of just how I feel about the U.S. at this point. But until then, take care. Don't be an asshole. Help somebody out if you can, and fuck the right.
One.